is able to reverse engineer it and say, oh, I want that too.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was, not to keep bringing Maria up, she's not in the room, but who cares?
We'll pretend.
Maria said to me once, I was telling her that sometimes someone will say something to me and it's a total ouch, like like I can feel it inside. And I'm like, God, what the heck? And she said, every time there's an ouch, she said, because she said, I had the same thing, obviously. She said, every time there's an ouch, that person is hitting your button, and it's really like it's a teacher. So pay close attention to what you're feeling at their prodding. But the whole idea of teachers are coming at you for your ouches instead of what we normally do, which is like, who does she think? Yeah, look at this lady. Who does she think she is? But you're right. They're all, that just opens up a whole other world.
It does. Yeah, you can call them tormentors.
I like that better. Teacher seems too nice.
No, they're mentors of the worst kind, but they're tormentors. And it's so, and same
good.
with envy, which I think is core to what you're saying.
Yeah.
You'll notice with your friends that, you have very different reactions.
Yes.
To different
and you
people.
go, what? Didn't that person bug you? Didn't you hear what they said? And they're like, yeah. It didn't even touch me. It was like a glancing blow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about pride, because that one, is this confidence, is that in that one?
Yeah. I mean, pride is I think so many of these are so close to women, and pride and envy are correlated because we know what we do to visible women in this culture. And I'm sure you've thought about this as someone who's visible and very loved. And I'm sure there's some consciousness in that to ensure that it stays that way, because typically with celebrities, musicians, founders, you can look across every industry. We celebrate women to a certain point, and then we decide that they've had enough.
And they've had their turn.
They need to be put back in their place, and we destroy them and experience some schadenfreude, which is joy plus harm from whatever happens to them. And then we wait however many years until they, start their comeback tour, and we buy the merch and hashtag Free Britney. But this is our pattern. And we can say, as a pretty normal woman, I can say it doesn't really relate to me, but it does. And all of our girls are watching this and recognizing, if I have a dream for myself, if I dare to be seen, there will be consequences. And that's psychologically incredibly limiting. And it goes closely with envy, because again, we don't want to inspire people's envy and have them look for reasons to.
Right.
I mean, we get a masterclass in it almost every month, I think, in our culture. I don't know that we see it through that lens, but that's really what's happening. We don't do this to men.
Everything I read in your book, I was like, yes. But do you see like the next generation of girls or the one after, like when does all this change start happening?
Yeah. Well, the reason I wanted to write the book is that I feel like when you can see the system, it's much easier to shift. I could sense all of this, and I'd read, there are incredible books about women and anger and women and food and women and sex. And I wanted to put everything together in the same house and say, this might seem obvious, but I'm going to show you the matrix. I'm going to show you the way that all of this is connected. I think the more that we can start to understand these as cultural systems, the more we can push against them and recognize the water that we're swimming in. I think every generation is a little bit more free.
I think so, yeah.
But you see, with Gen Z, some sort of shocking, some shocking tendencies too. And I also resist sort of the way that it's been our tendency to push things on to the next gen. Like, they'll save us. They'll save us.
Yeah, right. Are they going to save us?
Are they, or can we take responsibility for ourselves?
So are you happy in this, where you are now? It seems like you're making the right choices for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you're in the right lane?
I do. And I do a lot of different things, and which helps sort of calm things. I don't think I could do just one thing ever. I'm not that person. But I feel like I'm really been able to sort of express myself and find community, which is so critical, I think,
Your
for all of
podcast
us.
is awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
You have if you guys haven't heard Elisa's podcast, it's amazing. You have such interesting guests. Usually there's this kind of the circuit, like I know that one. You always have like, wait, who's that guy? Who's this woman? Like, you seem to find these people, and I guess you attract kind of what's within. So what's next? Like, if we were looking at your life in 10 years, what do you think you'll be doing?
I think I'll mostly be doing the same thing, which I know sounds, again, like there should be some sort of really glamorous finish line. But I think I'll be writing and hopefully still hosting Pulling the Thread, and just doing what I can to serve and bring other ideas. Because as you know, like connecting people with a therapist or a way of thinking can really change people's lives. Yeah. It's these small moments, these small interventions. And that's an incredible privilege. So that's always where I want to be.
Okay, you have got to read Elise's book. It's called On Our Best Behavior, The 7 Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good. It's kind of autobiographical, and it's got such great life lessons. I knew you were going to be awesome because I heard I've been listening to your cool podcasts, and I was like, immediately I was like, please, I want to get Elise on the show. They were like, if she's in New York, we'll work it out. But thank you.
Oh,
I think we're going to be in touch. So I'm happy to be sitting with you. Thanks again.
Thanks, Hoda.
First of all, I just want to say that when I watched the Kennedy Center Awards, and I watched Goldie Hawn, and she said these words of you: "She is a superpower goddess to me. I bow down to you, Bet." Aww. And I thought she's speaking for so many of us. Like, as I sit across from you, I have to say, I've met you one time before, but in this moment, all I can think about is all of the moments that you have impressed on my life that you'll never know. And I'm sure every person in this room and every person watching has a moment. My assistant walked down the aisle to The Rose. That was her song. Wow. Everyone has a moment. To know that somehow your life meant something not just to you and your family, but to all of us, how does that land?
It's overwhelming, to tell you the truth. It's overwhelming because of the speed of the life. It was so fast. Everything was going so fast that there really wasn't any time to absorb everything that was happening, really, to see the impact that you were having on people's lives. I mean, still to this day, I mean, if I'm on the road or if I'm, out in public, people will say, "Oh, and this was so meaningful to me," or "That was so meaningful," and it's wonderful. But to hear you say that, and to recall those words of Goldie, that's really something.
I mean, I have a friend who said that she saw her mother, who is now in her 80s, cry 3 times in her life. And it was when she lost a parent and when she had some horrible accident, and beaches. Like, those are those moments. It's sort of like you let us unlock things that we've been lugging around for years.
Oh, that is so...
And we just need a place to, like, let it flow out of us.
That is so extraordinary that you're saying that. Because I, of course, have my shrink. And she tells me there's nothing like a good cry.
Do you, when you watch any of your own movies, do you ever get a good boo-hoo out of them?
I do. Yeah. In certain scenes, I do get a little boo-hoo. Yeah. I did. Strangely enough, I did cry at the end of Hocus Pocus, the last Hocus Pocus. That thing where they all sort of disappear. And my husband cried too. We both did. It was like, is that what it's like? And he was so impressed. He just loved it. We both cried.
When you look back through your career, I watched an interview you did with Barbara Walters, and you were in your 30s, early 30s, and you just finished The Rose, I think. And Barbara asked you, is this the peak, or is there more? And you said, no, this is it.
I did.
Yeah. You said, this is it. And she goes, well, what are you going to do from when you're 30 to when you're 90? And you go, I don't know.
but this is it. And I feel like most of your blessings happened after that.
Yes.
Your daughter, all that stuff. But I feel like you always live in the moment during your career. Was that kind of the magic?
That was, first let me address the Rose, which was an absolutely pivotal point in my life. It was a peak. It was a peak. What I didn't know was that many, many peaks would come after that. And I'm so gratified because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to take a fall. And I took many spills after that. After that triumph, I took plenty of spills. I had 2 real bombs in a row. And then fortunately, I was picked up by the Walt Disney Company. And then the hits just kept coming, and it was fantastic. And I wondered if that was ever going to end, And when it did end, I was intelligent enough to get my old music back together and go on the road and start a new chapter. So in a funny way, I've always been kind of opportunistic about my career. This isn't working, let's move quick. Let's think of something else. Because you have to be nimble, and that's true of everything in life.
And at that moment, you hadn't yet met your husband, Barton, who told you, I guess, upon, in the early days, like, he said, what do you love? And you go, I like being funny. He's like, go do that.
Yes.
I mean, and that part of your career kind of went off like a rocket ship. Was being funny you since you were a little girl?
I was funny. I was not, I wasn't exactly a wit, but I was always physically funny.
Yeah.
And my daughter's the same way, although she's much wittier than I am. And she was, we love physical comedy. I've always loved physical comedy my entire life. And my heroes are, of course, Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and those people. I wished I could have been there when they were making those movies. Wait a second, I lost the thread. I'm so old now, I lost the thread. What was the question?
I can't remember.
You can't remember either.
Because I lost the thread too. You know what? It happens.
It totally happens. And it happens at a certain age. And I always say 75, you're gold till 75. After 75, it's like, better figure out another way. This is really hard. It's hard.
Your great happiness has always come from.
Oh, I know what you said. I know.
This is amazing.
Your great peaks happened afterwards.
Yeah.
You met your husband, and he said, "I want to be funny," and he encouraged me to be funny. But I'll tell you the truth.
What?
If Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg hadn't taken over the Disney company at the time that they did, I probably would not have had. I probably would have had to find another way, because they decided they were going to have an adult imprint in their studio, and that was Touchstone. They invented Touchstone, and they wanted grown-up movies.
Yes.
And I, who was this bawd, I'm bawdy, and I sing the blues sometimes, and I can be, pretty blue. It didn't matter to them. They wanted that, and for some reason, I wound up with the family organization, and for years, I was there 10 years. I made pictures for them for 10 years, and for 10 years I would say, how did I get here? How did I get here? And yet I was making fun. I was there, and I was having the time of my life. Great movies, 1 or 2 duds, but for the most part, great pictures that touch people's lives. So thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Mike.
When you think about the beginning, when you were starting, I always think like someone had to believe 100 in you.
Yes.
So when I know you grew up in Hawaii and you moved and you came here and you're like, let me try this thing. You had confidence, but there had to be somebody who said, you've got this. Because
first let me say, I never said I'm going to try this.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I never said I'm going to try this. I said I'm going to do this, which is a completely different thing. For me, there was nothing else. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't add. I couldn't subtract. I couldn't take dictation. I couldn't teach. I couldn't nurse. I couldn't do anything. All I could do, which was what was open to you in those days, this is what I could do. So that was the only thing to do, and I loved it with all my heart. I was going to do it. So there was never any question in my mind. And from the fact that I had no question, there was no question in my mind, comes tremendous confidence. It was years before my confidence was shaken. Years. Wow. It took years.
So, but what about when you didn't get the gig? Like, did that shake your confidence?
No, because I knew that that was the route. Those were the rules. You would go up and you would be seen, and you might make it, but you might not. And a couple of times I would get close, but then I didn't.
What did they say? What was that?
They would say, Thank you.
Did they tell you why? Like what you could work on?
No, they don't do that in those days, no. Next.
When was your dad the proudest of you?
I think my dad was a problem. My dad never liked any of it. My dad was a straightforward, straight shooting guy. He loved Jackie Gleason. I got my love from Jackie Gleason from him. And he was a working class guy. He was blue collar. He was a house painter. And he rose through the ranks he worked for the civil service, rose through the ranks to become a superintendent of house painters. But basically he was a blue collar guy and he liked it that way.
Okay.
My mother was more airy-fairy. My mother had imagination, she had dreams, she wanted to speak French. I mean, it was lovely. And so I had both of these people tugging at me all the time. And my mother named me for Betty Davis, which Betty Davis was not pleased to hear.
Why?
Well, who knows? Because, you know, I went to Liz Taylor's 60th birthday party, and it was very interesting. And Miss Davis came, and I had just had my baby.
Oh, geez.
And I was invited, and I was like so exhausted. And in those days, there was no hair and makeup.
Yeah.
You didn't know about hair and makeup. You just did your hair and you put on a dress and you went. She showed up and she said, and she was very offended that I had come to this event without putting on the dog. So she made that very clear. And then she wound up talking the whole night to Bob Dylan. Go no. So, so I can't imagine what he said to her.
Oh,
anyway.
So
so I was a little bit hurt. So we were all named for the act. My sister was Judy Garland, my sister Susan was Susan Hayward, and I was Betty Davis. Although I pronounced it Bet, she pronounced it Betty.
Did your mom want to be an actress?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? They were the silent generation.
Yeah, sure.
They didn't talk.
Yeah.
There was no expressing of feelings. They very rarely delved into their memories. They very rarely told you the story of their life. Almost never. They were. I think the proudest he ever was when I came back to look after him after he had a heart attack and he had, he needed somebody to look after him, and I looked after him and sort of. I didn't do the end. I wasn't there for the end. My sister did all that, but I was there when he had his heart stent put in, and. We walked and we cooked and we did all this stuff, and he was, I loved him with all my heart. And in the end, he wrote me a note, and please don't make me cry. He wrote me a note. He wrote me a really nice note. Moving on.
Can I tell you something?
You're just like Barbara Walters.
No, but
she used to do that too.
But you know what? Every kid dreams of a note at the end. I mean, because there are so many things that are unanswered.
I know, so many things unsaid.
Did it answer or did it
It answered everything.
It did?
It did. It was very moving.
Where is that note?
I have it.
Of course you do.
I have it framed.
Can I ask one more question about him?
Yeah.
What did you lose the day he passed?
Well, I think what I lost, it was a good thing and a bad thing, because he was realistic to a fault. And I think he knew human nature. And in a funny way, his passing released me from the cynicism that he put on me. And that was a good thing, because one wants to be joyful in this life. And he was quite a cynic. He was quite a cynic. He didn't trust a lot of people. And I think because they lived through so much, that generation. He had lived through the Depression and the war, and I think they just, they'd had it. They just had it. So he imparted a little bit of that, actually quite a bit of it to me. But my mother was the joyous one.
Yeah.
She could make me smile, and I watched her, and she was marvelous.
Did she get to see how big you made it?
She saw enough of it that it thrilled her.
Wow.
She saw the movie, she saw The Rose,
Oh.
and she died not long after that. She died actually during the making of, I think, Outrageous Fortune, which was in the 80s. And she hoarded everything. She kept all the clippings, and people would write her, and she would write them back, and she loved that.
Oh, really?
Oh, she loved that. She loved all that. So in the end, it was great. In the end, I did the right thing. I did.
It's so funny because my best friend just flew in because we're going to have a little meeting, and I just saw her outside, and she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm interviewing Bette Midler," and she goes, "Oh my God." So she and I, when we first met, ordered pizza with onions on it and turned on for the boys. I've never seen a person cry like Karen cried that day.
Oh.
To this day, it's been 30 years. We now say when she goes, oh my God, I was so upset. I go, was it for the boys? She goes, not that bad. I go, so that's our benchmark. But that movie too, you were nominated for an Oscar for that
I
one?
was.
Yeah.
I was.
I mean, so many beautiful nominations, so many
It's
wins
true.
through life.
Yes.
Like so many accolades. Did those things matter to you?
Did they mean a lot? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But once you get them, they're furniture. You know, so it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. The recognition from your peers is always, always great. It's there. I can't deny it. I can't. Some people are very poo-poo about it. Like I said, when you get it, it's great, but then it's there, and you sort of tend to take it for granted because the life is lived at such a speed. It's so reckless in a funny way. And now that I've slowed down a lot, I look back on it and I say, what the hell was that? Because it was so fast, and so fast and furious, things coming at you all the time, all these things you had to negotiate, new things, old friends, new songs, old songs, movies. It was lived at such a fever pitch that it was very hard to internalize it and to not just accept it, but take a great deal of joy from it. And the thing is that joy is like everything fades. Everything fades. And when you reach a certain age, you realize, oh, this is so interesting. Because all the stuff that you read, that you said, oh, that's not going to happen to me, it happens.
What are those things?
All sorts of things. The body changes, the mind changes, the take on life changes, your friends change, your situation in life changes, your house falls apart. You know that song, This Old House?
Yeah.
I had it on my Rosemary Clooney songbook, and when I first recorded it, I thought, oh, I think this is a song about growing old, but I'm not sure. And then I realized, oh, it's absolutely about growing old.
How do you feel about being a woman of a certain age?
You know, I always say 75, you're golden. Past 75, you're negotiating incessantly. You're thinking about the stairs. You're thinking about that chair. I fell twice. I fell twice. Once at Christmas time, I fell off a chair, a metal chair, and I fell on my left breast, and I dented the chair. How about that? I dented the chair. So that was like a purple boob for months. That was one time, and then I was in the street, and both times my daughter rescued me. Of course, both times. For her, as an only child, it's really. I think only children have a very special, burden to carry because they're they have these two. As I said earlier, my daughter has said for years, I was a single parent my entire life. That's great.
She's brilliant, right?
She's brilliant.
Does she have your humor? Is that where she got it?
Yeah, she's got. I don't know where she got it from, but she's got a little bit of both of us.
What's the good part of growing older?
The good part of growing older is that you get it.
Yeah.
You're not so it's not so obscure to you what's going on.
Yeah.
You see the machine more.
Yeah.
You see what's coming. You see how people jockey for position, and you see how life is lived. And it can be distressing, but it can also be kind of enlightening. Because you know the way the gears work, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not so stressful. You say, oh, that's just life.
That's the way it goes.
That's how it goes.
Your fulfillment, you said a couple of things in past interviews. You were bookish. You always described yourself as bookish.
Yeah, I'm bookish.
Are you still that way?
I'm deeply bookish, more now than ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, because there's so many books that I haven't read, and now I'm like on a timetable. Oh, I gotta do that.
What do you read? Anything?
I'm reading Shakespeare. I never read Shakespeare. I never read him. I decided I'm going to read Shakespeare, and I started with Richard III, which is unbelievable, and so clear about the way human beings are.
Wow!
And so now I realize, after I read that, I said, "Oh my God, this is fantastic!
Amazing! These
are all, like you're searching for the answers to certain personality questions, and they're all there. So that's what I'm doing."
Let's talk about where we are now, because I know you get great satisfaction from performing, obviously on stage, you come alive and all those things.
Yeah.
You've got this movie, and it's tons of fun. It's 4 women. All are just, you guys have all kind of antics together. Your daughter makes a cameo. Tell me about what it was like filming this.
Well, we were in a great spot. We were in Savannah, Georgia, and we had a great team. We had Jocelyn Morehouse, who loves women, who's worked with women, made great movies with women, and she gathered this cast together. It was initially Susan Sarandon and Megan Mullally. Susan really wanted Megan, and it was, and she was right. And it was Sissy Spacek, but Sissy broke her hip. So I said, Cheryl Lee Ralph. So Cheryl Lee Ralph, they said, that's a good idea. And Cheryl came on board. And you know what? It was really good. It was really good casting. Very balanced. Yep. And the piece is really good because everybody gets a chance to shine.
I love
which is terrific.
This is a great movie. It's all about women in different, they're all of a certain age, but they're in different parts of life. Your character is about to get married again.
Yes.
To a guy she only just met. I mean,
Exactly.
by the way, you actually did that in real life.
I did.
Pause for a second. Is that how you make decisions?
I am impulsive.
Yes.
Yes, I am very
You
impulsive.
do. I mean, you meet, I'm going to get to the movie, but you meet a guy named Martin. You said he had on some crazy blazer that was yellow, or
Yes,
I don't know
yes,
what
yes.
color it was, whatever.
Yes.
And you were like, huh. And
And he did too. He said,
huh.
we both
Because
did.
you're both kind of just interesting, a little different.
Yes.
Who proposed to whom?
I think I proposed to him. I think I was I was at that time. It was the time was right, and he was fabulous. And I thought, what could happen? And I took a flyer, because people took flyers then. I think they still do.
I think so. And then you went to Vegas and got married?
We went to Vegas and got married by an Elvis impersonator. Always a good idea. And on the way back, it snowed. So we took that as a very, very good omen. It was very beautiful.
How many years now?
40, close to 40. Actually, 40. 40. This year,
Wow.
40. I cannot make any sense out of it. It's just like my career. What in the hell was that? It's just nuts. 40 years is a long, long time. It's long.
It's long.
It's long, and 78 is really long. and the interesting thing is that it's never dull.
It's never
It's
dull.
never dull. You're always scrambling. You're always curious. You're always looking for answers. Human beings are are wonderful creatures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the movie. So
back to the movie.
So
here I was with Susan Sarandon,
Yeah.
who I knew for years ago, but from years, because we had a women's luncheon group together. So I knew her. I didn't know Megan, although I knew her work, and I knew Sheryl Lee's work really well because she was from the theater. So here we all were with Jocelyn, and each one of those characters is extremely indelible. And I loved my character because she's really wacky, and she's not going without a fight.
No, she's
which she is going to stay relevant until they carry her out feet first. She is not, she's not going to go gentle. So I found her really intriguing, and I also found her ridiculous. And there's nothing better than someone who's ridiculous.
I love watching the character film herself, and she's putting everything on TikTok. No matter what anyone's doing, she's like, smile over here, and the friends are like, what are you doing?
And she's also the bully of the bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely the bully of the bunch, and she doesn't really recognize it. It's one of those things that she doesn't really want to recognize about herself. Do this, do that. And I think she was a sort of a leader, but she has a secret. She does have a secret, and that's the fact that Susan's character, Lou, the doctor, is estranged from her. And this is the character that she has always missed in her life, because she really looked up to her. And the fact that this character is no longer in her life has been a source of discomfort and pain to her. And it's another one of those things that she swept under the rug. So she has a lot of baggage.
She's carrying it.
And she's carrying a lot of baggage, and she's she's delusional in a funny way. I would say
you fall in love with her. You really do.
Yeah, you do.
What about you and TikTok? Do you have any relationship with any of these?
I tried. I gave it a few hours of my life, and I said, this is too dangerous. I got started at 9, and I didn't get done till 2 or 4. And I looked up, and I said, what time is it? And they said, it's 4. And I said, but how could that be? How could that be? Where did the hours go? And then I realized, no.
You're not doing that.
No, I can't. I cannot go down that. I can't.
No. How about getting back on Broadway or getting back on the stage?
Well, it's 7 or 8 shows a week. Takes a toll on your body.
Yeah.
Although I must say, the last one, Hello Dolly, a dream come true.
By the way,
I think
home
that
run.
I think that was the peak of my life. I really do think that was the greatest thing I ever did. I really do. Being in that tiny little room, that tiny little theater, with those people who had, paid top dollar. Those people who had followed me all these years, screaming for Dolly. I mean, it was overwhelming. It was really overwhelming. And the cast was so brilliant, and we had so much fun. We had the progressive party. We had parties. We went to dinner. We went for drinks. I mean, it was real camaraderie.
How do you feel that part of you now? Because to have that in your life, I mean, I would think that
I talked to Hoda. How do I fill that? I have my family, and I've brought my family much closer. Yeah. And I read. I read because I really feel like I can't leave this life with so many questions unanswered. You know, I really want to get it. I'm really waiting for the answer. And someone will say, some Buddhist or someone will say, there is no answer. There's no self and there's no answer. But the search is so interesting. You know, it keeps the wheels moving, and there's nothing more exciting than being invigorated by thought, I think, you know, and by the imagination. You don't really need, I love the crowds, but I don't need them anymore. I was tired. I'm not saying I'm in retirement, but I did get tired, and I do feel that it was time for me to just take a step back and rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I got a million cliches. I mean, I have them all. I don't know where they come from.
Do you still do you still sing at home? Do you like singing?
I do sing at home from time to time. I sing on Twitter. I make those ridiculous parodies about certain things, political parodies, and that's always fun. But I don't really have the needs that I once had. Everything gets turned down a little bit after a certain age. And I think a lot of it's hormonal.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I thank God for hormones, because nothing would ever get done if not for hormones.
I love you.
Oh,
I really
love you
do. That was so beautiful and fulfilling.
You're really special. Give me a hug. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Lainey, you've quickly become one of my favorite people, and I think it's because I feel like you are authentically you. So I wanted to get to know where it started. So I love this question because I think it's kind of a window into someone's life. Someone asked me this question once, and I was like, "Oh, good question." So close your eyes. Okay. Now, imagine your childhood bedroom that you're looking around. You're standing in it. You see what's on the walls, what kind of sheets, what's on your desk, if you have a desk, posters on the wall, whatever. Now, open your eyes and tell me what you see.
First of all, I see a mess.
There you go.
Stuff shoved under the bed. I see a baby blue room with clouds on the walls that my mama tried to paint.
I love it.
Because I remember watching the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, and they had clouds on their walls, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I think too, because like I just remember like looking up at the sky even at night and like dreaming and just like so I loved clouds.
Yeah.
I see a flowery pink bedspread.
Yeah.
And lots of zebra print and leopard print, so a little bit of everything everywhere.
What did you share, or were you by yourself?
So I have one sister, and until we were 10 and 11, we shared the same room.
Shared the room.
So this was I'm talking about my bedroom once we finally had our own
Your
individual.
own rooms.
Yeah.
Did you have anything on the walls? Did you have posters of anybody who you?
Yes, I had a poster of Britney Spears, a poster of Shania Twain, a poster of I Love Lucy when she was in the chocolate factory.
Okay, wait, what? That's like other generation.
And what's so weird is I actually just bought some property in Nashville, and I was in the shop the other day on the property, and I look up and I see the same exact
Stop it.
I Love Lucy chocolate factory poster on the wall.
There are no accidents in life, man.
There's not.
There's like full circle. Why did you have that? What was it about that?
I love humor.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that she just had the cutest personality, and she was like unapologetically herself. And I love people like that.
That's who you're attracted to.
Yeah, I
seems
love people like that.
It seems like all of your people, like Dolly Parton, Lucy, they are originals.
Yep.
In your career, I can imagine, because everybody's looking to create someone into stardom.
Yep.
But as you were going through trying to make it, and I want to talk about that, were people trying to change you, mold you, fix this? If you just did that, if you only were like this, you'd have a deal.
For sure. And I could have absolutely taken the easy route.
What did they say? Like, what kinds of things were they
I remember
suggesting?
going around to publishing companies in Nashville, and I'd play them a batch of music, and then I'd play them like this one song that was not quite who I am, but was kind of the thing that other people were doing, because I wanted to show them that I could do both.
Yeah,
you know, I
you
could
were
write songs
capable.
for other people, and here's what I do. And I definitely remember people being like, now that one right there, that is the thing that's going to like make you cut through, and like if you could just like, the other stuff is not going to work, but this stuff, it might. And I just knew, I'm like, that goes against who I am. And I'm all about growth. I'm all about like taking advice and constructive criticism from people that know what they're talking about. But I have a hard time taking advice from people who aren't where I want to be. You know?
That's a good benchmark right there.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and I know you love Dolly, and she's amazing. And I interviewed her once, and she was talking about growing up one of, I think, 12. And she didn't know what other outside influences were out there in music.
Yep.
So she played her way.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if she could have said like, "Oh, let me look at her. Oh, she looks like that. She acts like that. Let me try." She wasn't original by nature, and also because there weren't other things out there for her to try to be. So she was herself.
That's right.
But you had influences. You like Britney Spears. You like this. We all like different people. But somehow you stayed the course. When you were being brought up, how did your parents instill kind of confidence in you?
Well, first of all, they would kind of put me on the spot everywhere that we would go.
Like what?
Like we would be in Walmart. I was the Walmart boy. I was Mason Ramsey, but we didn't have TikTok, you know. And I remember them just being like, we'd run into somebody and they're like, "Hey, Lainey, sing them that song that you wrote last night, anywhere."
Wait, so you just were singing on the spot as a kid wandering around Walmart?
100%. I mean, my very first gig was a grand opening of a convenience store in Baskin, my hometown, and the guy who owned the store, he gave me a $20 bill, and I still have the $20 bill. But I just got up there and sang every song that I had written a cappella, because I couldn't play guitar at that point. It wasn't until about 11 years old when I picked up the guitar.
How does music spill out of a 8-year-old and 9-year-old? Like, how does it come? Is it like a poem? What is it?
I guess so, but I think it was more about the storytelling aspect of it for me, because, I mean, when you're from somewhere like Baskin, it's 180-something people, I think. And there's not a lot to do except sit around and hear the same old stories you've been hearing for years. But the kind of stories that get better every time you hear them, or you hear them from like a different perspective. And if my daddy's telling the story, when he gets thrown off that horse, it's going to be a few extra feet the next time he tells it. But those stories that make you laugh and cry, and I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell a story. That's what it was.
That's it. That's
it.
all it was.
So I was singing about tequila and cigarettes when I was 10 years old.
Did you, the feeling of sing, Lainey, and you did, what feeling came over you as a little girl, if you can put yourself back there?
I mean, I definitely remember being a little timid. I mean, I was the kid in the grocery store that I would hide behind my mama's legs and kind of peek around the corner.
Yeah.
But eventually that wore off because they believed in me.
Yeah.
They did. They knew it around the same time that I knew it, that I was really going to do this. And it was just a weird sense of peace that it just comes from up above. And that's the only thing that we can put our finger on. I mean, the truth is, like, my daddy is very realistic about things, and he's very he's type
practical.
A, you know? And he would normally be the kind of dude that's just like, no, you need to get a job that's 9 to 5, and you need to, if you want
insurance and all the rest.
Yeah, but for some weird reason,
he said, try.
He was like, yeah, this is it. This is what you're gonna do.
Okay, that's so big because every parent probably dreams it, but probably doesn't dare say it because they want to make sure their kid lands gently.
For sure.
Your musical influences who did you listen to? You said you had Shania posters.
Yeah.
Was she somebody who you looked up to and listened to?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember watching her music videos and just thinking, man, she's spicy.
Yeah.
She's got that. She's got that thing, you know. And I loved the leopard print. I mean, my first pair of bell bottoms, they were leopard print. But I mean, I grew up definitely listened to a lot of 90s country.
Yeah, sure.
I felt like I knew those people. I felt like I knew the voices on the radio because it was more than just a genre of music for me. It was truly a way of life.
Yeah.
We lived out those songs.
How did you go from your small town? Because there's a sense of security obviously that comes from every wherever. Like I remember where I grew up, and I remember what it felt like. I knew every neighbor, every kid knew me. When I went to school, they all knew me.
Yeah.
I wasn't the kid with the funny name and the weird hair and the stop sign glasses.
Yeah.
They knew me.
Yeah.
And when you take yourself up, I call it repotting. Like you pulled yourself up by the roots from this place, and you're dangling in the air, probably wondering, am I going to make it? Look at me. I feel like I need nourishment. And you start to put your roots down figuratively in Nashville, in a camper, not really, but you were making that. How did you make that transition? And did you feel fish out of water, or what did you feel like?
Well, I ended up feeling a lot different than I thought I was going to feel. So I just heard, you got to be there to do it. You got to be there to do it. And I thought, all right, well, then I'm going to be there and then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I realized, okay, now I'm here. I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I thought I was moving to country music city where people were going to maybe talk like me a little bit, you know, and that was not the truth.
Yeah.
I was a little fish in a big pond. And it was like starting over from scratch. I mean, of course, the people in my hometown, like, they were my biggest fan.
Yeah.
You know, like I was famous in a small town, I guess you could say. And it was starting over. But that's how it's been for me. It's been a lot of, like, gear shifting.
Yeah.
Along the way. Even year 7 of being in Nashville, you have to shift some gears. And, like, it's just been a lot of navigating until I found a group of people, like my team of people in Nashville that got it.
Well, rejections are something you're used to, and you had them for years. You were, they call Nashville, because I have a bunch of friends there too. They do call it the 10-year town. Like, after 10 years, if you've tried and you haven't made it, probably time to peace out.
That's right.
You didn't peace out. What happened on year 10 when you knew that phrase and you were like, what did you think?
Oh, it was sneaking up on me.
Yeah, what'd you think?
After being in Nashville, at least for like 3 years, I was like, okay, this is going to look different than I thought it was going to look. I'm going to have to, like, really get my 10,000 hours, and even more. And it wasn't until year 7 I got a publishing deal. Year 8 got a record deal, and then once I signed my record deal, that didn't mean anything.
Right, didn't mean you made money.
No, that means I had $20 in my account with a record deal, you know.
Oh, no.
And my sister was Venmoing me for Taco Bell. I mean,
holy moly.
That wasn't long ago. And
okay, that's crazy right there.
Yeah. And so then year 10, I had a song at radio. My first song did not do well. And then the pandemic hit, and then we went to radio with this song, Things a Man Ought to Know. And it was like 10 years and a month and a few days when Things a Man Ought to Know went number 1.
Holy moly.
So they hit the nail on the head.
They really did.
They did.
So, 9 years, $20, nothing going on. Was there any point in your heart, even though you knew you loved it, because, we've all loved things, and sometimes it's not meant to be. Did you ever think to yourself, okay, God, I'm getting your message here. I've been trying and I'm broke.
I should have had that feeling. I should have took my butt to the house. I should have. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know a lot of people probably thought, man, when's she going to give this thing up? But I never had that feeling.
You never did.
I never had it, because I always just felt like, man, it could be right around that corner.
It's right there.
It's like that mountain meme,
Yes.
It's just like, it could be right there.
Right there. did your parents keep you on track? Or did they have that feeling of, honey, we did encourage you, but you do have to make a living at some point?
They never had it either.
My God, I love your parents.
I've always been able to make a living playing music, even when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Like from 8th grade on. Like I've always been able to support myself with music. Whether that meant I was playing a 4 or 5 hour bar gig or whatever, I was making ends meet. And I knew that my parents were there if I needed them, and they wanted me to know that. And they've had to help me at times. Like you can't do it without, whether that just means somebody's guidance, or at times when you say, I can't pay my water bill. Can you help me do that? And they were there when I needed them.
Wow. Isn't that so crazy how not having $20 in your pocket to where you sit right now, the time frame in between those two moments, which is nuts when you think about how close the bottom and the top are. It really is.
Insane.
It's like a blink. I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah, and someone was saying to me, like, often your best blessings are on the other side of the jump. If you didn't jump to Nashville, like all your blessings were waiting for you. But if you had stayed,
That's
you know,
right.
because I think a lot of people think, well, I'll stay here and when it's time, my time will come.
That's right.
Were you ever afraid of jumping into anything? Like, think about your life.
Of course, I guess I've been scared to jump into things that I didn't know that I would be halfway decent at, you know?
Yeah.
Like even the acting thing.
Yeah.
But it's really crazy how the Lord blesses you with people that, like my parents, I have found people in Nashville and my manager and everything that at times they'll see things in me that maybe I don't even see in myself, and they encourage me to take that step. And I think about Dolly Parton, I think about Reba, and I think about the women that like stayed true to themselves, but also they weren't scared to take opportunities. They were like, you damn right, I'm going to do it.
That's exactly right. I mean, and to have your acting gig to be Yellowstone is like, hello,
jumping
jackpot.
in.
I mean, so that started off with a couple of your songs were on Yellowstone, and then someone tapped you and said, hey, why don't you give it a go?
Yeah, Taylor Sheridan, he
Holy
called,
moly.
and we had become friends after he had put a couple of the songs in the show, and I realized just how beneficial it was to have music in that show, because I mean, people were coming to my show being like, I found you through the Yellowstone soundtrack.
Oh, you're kidding. I wouldn't have thought that. Wow.
Yeah, and so it's just been a perfect storm with, like, I think that show's had a lot to do with the Western way of life becoming cool again.
Of course.
And I think timing is everything.
Wow. And to think about, and who taught you the acting part? Like, how did you learn what to do?
You know what? Actually, Taylor Sheridan told me, because we were on the phone, he said, I've got an idea. And I'm like, this man is full of crazy ideas. He's crazy. But he said, I want to create a character specifically for you, and I want you to sing your music and kind of be yourself, but go by a musician named Abby. And I said, well, you know, I've never acted a day in my life. And he said, well, most musicians that I work with, they, without even knowing it, they're actors and actresses, because at times you got to stand up on that stage. Maybe you just lost somebody the night before. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe, who knows, but you've got to hide all these feelings when you get up on that stage, because it's not about you, you know?
Boy, that's a beautiful sentiment. When you sang on the stage, by the way, with that Make-A-Wish little girl out here on the plaza, there was something about it, and I've thought about it a lot since you did it. I think it was that you didn't sing with her, you sang to her. And something about, we watched what was between you and that little girl. And I was thinking about how your life has blessed so many people and how you lifted her up. And then I thought, I wonder, like, who lifts Lainey up? Like, what happens, like you just said, when you lose somebody, when you suffer a great loss, and you need help too. Who helps you?
I got a lot of good people in my life. I really do, and I keep those good people close, like the people that know me, not the artist, but me. So my sister, she's my big sister. She's my best friend. I have an incredible group of girlfriends back in Nashville, and they all kind of, in a way, like, we all kind of do the same thing. My manager's my best friend. My mama is one of my best friends. My boyfriend. I've got a lot of good good people. I mean, even my team out on the road, they've become my family. And so we're there for each other, because the truth is, stuff happens. And you just got to keep pushing on and take advantage of the love that people are trying to give you around you.
When you feel depleted, how do you nourish, like, yourself, your soul, what do you do?
Man, I will tell you, I take on a lot of people's energy, and I put a lot of energy out too. I feel like we're probably pretty similar like that. Like, I can walk in a room, and there's some bad energy, like I can kind of feel it. Yeah. And so I'm becoming more aware of, like, when I know that I need to be very intentional about filling my cup. And so it's forcing myself to do, like, my daily devotionals, put my feet in the dirt, doing those things that just what's going to fill me up so I can continue to give more. Because if you continue just to give from a half full glass,
that's what I feel like sometimes. Yeah,
there's, like, I want to be able to give a lot of myself. Yeah. And it's not a good feeling when you can't do that. And so I'm trying to pay attention to it. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't get it right all the time. And sometimes I'm pouring out of an empty glass. I'm like, bottoms up.
I need a minute. And sometimes it's more than taking a break. You're right. It's finding the places where you feel nourished, the people who fill it up, as opposed to, because sometimes I was like, I just need 2 sleeves of Ritz crackers, some Real Housewives in my bed, and then I'll be fine. Yeah. But that doesn't really do it. That just gives you a time to kind of blank slate it.
That's right.
But to nourish is a whole different thing.
That's right.
Do you see yourself down the road with a family, with kids? How do you envision, like, you said this was interesting. It's hard to jump when you can't see the other side. Yeah. It's like some people are in bad relationships and they want out, but they can't actually visualize themselves
for sure
in a good relationship. So when you visualize, you have to be able to see it. Do you see that part of your life, kids and all that stuff?
Yeah, so it's funny because, like, growing up, I didn't dream about walking down the aisle. I didn't dream about, like, babies and this and that, but I was dreaming about playing the Grand Ole Opry. I was dreaming about doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. And I feel like my dreams have kind of, like, brought other dreams. And yes, I want to enjoy this
part.
I want to enjoy this, but I also want to enjoy this one day with a family. I want to be able to raise kids and share the wisdom and knowledge that other people are sharing with me. And I think I'd be a hell of a mama.
I do too, by the way. By the way, you already have that thing, whatever it is. And it's like it's an innate nurturing trait. But but you're right. But I do think that's interesting. I had the same thing about like not seeing the actual moment of here's everyone down the aisle, but living that dream. I had kids late in life. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I love that.
They're the cutest, most amazing. But I do have to say, like, of all, I always think about like what are my greatest accomplishments, and man, who knew that all my blessings would come after 50? Like every single blessing. Best job I've ever had. A family I thought was so far gone, like not even attainable. So it's funny, and I feel like you're getting some of your blessings now, but I have a weird feeling like the boatload's coming.
I
the
love
boatload's
that.
coming.
And two, like, it's just now you have somebody to like really share it with.
It changes everything.
And do it for them.
Yeah. If you have a day that's all yours, Lainey, nobody's calling, nobody's coming, no one's around. You get to wake up when you want. You get to do what you want. There's nothing on your agenda. You have no PR stuff. You have nothing to do. Okay, your eyes are open. What time do they open?
Depends on what time I go to bed.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's just say I went to bed at midnight.
Okay.
I probably get up I can sleep.
Can you? How long?
I could probably get up about 9.
Oh, that's
I could get me a good 9 hours.
Is that your best night's sleep, by the way? If you can get 9 hours, you feel good?
8, 9.
8, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's
Good. I
I
like
can't
that.
imagine how you do. Like, how many hours of sleep do you get?
Well, I get up at 3.
I know.
So I go to bed. I usually go to bed around 9 or 10.
Okay.
But I'm bleary-eyed. I started like doing a meditation in the morning, which a friend of mine was saying, try this if you have these weird schedules that you have to be sharp and clear at this hour.
I need this.
So I started doing it's 20 minutes of meditation where you sit and you just repeat something in your head and all of your thoughts kind of empty out. And when you're done, it is kind of, you get like, because I have to read the prompter, I have to know the questions.
Yes, you got to be sharp.
I got to know what's going on. But it has really helped me like get some clarity and
I love that.
and energy.
Okay.
Weirdly, you think meditation would make you go to sleep, but it kind of perks
like
you
that.
up. Okay, I'm sorry. See what you do? You turn it around. Okay, back to you.
Yeah.
Back to you.
So, let's see.
Okay, you're getting up at 9.
I'd get up about 9.
First thing you do when you open your eyes.
Go to the coffee machine. I gotta have my coffee.
How do you take it?
When I'm trying to be good, just black.
Okay, but how about regular?
But like if I was doing whatever I wanted to do, I'd be putting me some probably some Coffee Mate.
Yeah, I love Coffee Mate.
Like,
wait, the powder, the old school?
no, not even the powder, the liquid.
Okay, all right.
It's like a lot of Coffee Mate with a little bit of coffee.
That's how I do. Yeah.
Probably sit on my front porch and listen to the birds out there with my little French bulldog, Hippie Mae Wilson.
Hippie Mae Wilson.
She's rotten. She is. It's her life, and I'm living in it. And then, man, maybe walk down to the end of the driveway, check the mail, like
just take it easy,
and probably stay in my pajamas all day long.
I love it. Don't you sometimes just need a day that has nothing to do?
Yep.
It's not full of anything or anybody.
I've got my old trusty pair of pajamas that
I love the ones that are really worn out.
Oh.
Come on. Would you watch TV? Is there anything that's lighting you up right now?
I would probably binge watch some stuff. I I just binge watched Defending Jacob.
Oh, how was that?
I really
You
enjoyed
liked
it.
it? Yeah.
I did. It was crazy. Like I love things that like keep me on my toes. And
They say
like,
Presumed Innocent is like that with
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal. I haven't seen it yet,
I
but
haven't either.
everybody's talking about
okay,
it.
that's the next
Next
one I'm
one,
checking out.
okay.
But then I love watching crazy stuff like Love Is Blind.
Oh yeah, I
You know,
love that.
I'm like,
That's a
I get
good
so
one.
invested, and then
Yeah.
I start talking shit to the camera. I'm like, why?
Why would you do that? Exactly.
So
Wow.
maybe at nighttime, build a little fire, have a glass of wine, jalapeno poppers.
You know what? That sounds like a great day.
I think so,
A
too.
great day. Lainey, you're such a lovely human. I just want to say thank you for hanging out
Thank
with me
you,
for a
sister.
little bit.
Thank you.
All
Back
right.
at ya.
Enjoy. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
First of all, I'm so happy to be sitting across from you. Your whole vibe enters the room before you do, which is kind of fun. I knew you were close. I was like, I feel him entering. How are you today, by the way? How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be here. I've spent a really beautiful 5 days in the city, and I lived here for 7 years, so it's nice being back and just like feeling the vibrancy of this place. It's so powerful.
Well, you've written, for those who don't know, beautiful books, bedside table books I have by my bedside table. One of them, we have them on the table here. The Way Forward is one. There's one called Lighter. And you'll know when you see Young Pueblo written on the book, you know you found a good one. And I want to get into your books and your philosophy and all that stuff. But I think it's important to go back to figure out, like, so you came to this place of where you are today. You feel you're healing, you're in the process like we all are, but you're in a great place. You didn't start that way. So what was it that you had to heal from initially? What was wrong in your life?
I think the struggle was that it was just a giant transition coming to this country. Like I was born in Ecuador, and when I was about 4 years old, my parents realized that there just was not enough opportunity there, that they needed to take a big risk to bring us to the United States, my brother and I and my mom and dad, and just see if we can make a better life for ourselves. So we ended up moving to Boston, and it was still a struggle there. It was a struggle for a long time.
How so?
Like my mom, she worked cleaning houses. My dad, he worked at a supermarket, and it was this sort of constant poverty trap that we were in, like really classic sort of American situation. My parents work extremely hard, but they were still struggling to pay the rent, still struggling to put food in the fridge. And I would see that struggle, right? And as a little kid growing up in this poverty trap, and I would see the stress of my parents. I would see the way that they would argue with each other, the way that they would just share their stress with each other, because, they, like, my parents were very good to my brother and I, but they had, no one else to really sort of like freak out
Vent.
with. It was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we doing
What
each
are we
month?
doing?
And,
So you knew what it was like to be hungry, to
Yeah.
be just insecure, like about all kinds of things.
On so many levels, like, learning the language, having to translate for my parents in the hospital as like an 8-year-old,
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
What
my
happened?
parents were still learning the language. So whenever we would have doctor's appointments or a checkup, my brother and I would play this, we would be the translators for the family, even though like he was 13 and I was 8. And, as we're growing up and just having to, my brother especially, he would have to sometimes be on the phone to pretending to be my dad as like a 12-year-old so that we could, pay the electricity bill or whatever it is that needed to happen.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
grew up really fast, and to me that all felt very normal until I got to college and I started realizing that I just had so much tension inside of me.
Tell me about college, because to go from what you're describing to saying, I'm going to college, how did that come to be?
Well, it came to be, there was a moment where, sort of going back, where I was in the summer after my 10th grade year, where I realized that there were two ways for me to make money in life. I was like, I could either go to college, or I could do what other people in my life had done, which was join gangs and make money really fast. And then that summer, I thought about that the whole summer. I was like, well, I don't really, like I had at that point already had friends who had passed away, friends who were in jail, you know, like inner city Boston, when I was growing up there, it was a hot place. Like it was quite, you know, turbulent. And in that summer, it sort of hit me that my only option is to go to college. Is like, I have to make this college thing work, because I don't really want to go to jail. I don't want to be in danger, like, because I've seen that life for other family members of mine. And I knew, okay, well, I need to start doing really well in school.
You seem like you would not fit in any aggressive group.
No,
just
no,
knowing
I realized, I was like,
but just knowing
yeah.
even just your personality.
Yeah.
So to go to college costs something. How did you work that out?
Yeah, so I ended up working my butt off and just getting, you know, as good grades as I could get. I ended up getting into Wesleyan University in Connecticut, and I didn't really know how elite of a university it was until I got there. But they, you know, gave me a huge scholarship and then got loans for the rest that we had to pay as a family. But when I got there, it was a shocker. It was such a shock, because, like, okay, so I just described that environment that I grew up in. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was with the wealthiest kids in the United States, right? Just kids who were, one of my closest friends, who I'm still friends with now, like, she actually ended up, she lives in Los Angeles. Her mother is a very famous producer. And she flew in a private plane, you know, to get to school.
To go to school.
Yeah.
You were like, what's
and
happening
I was like,
here?
is this real?
Yeah.
You know? And so the combination of being in an environment that was totally different from what I grew up in, and then having my own emotions coming up, that sort of led me to this path where I was just trying to mediate my emotions with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. So you started on that path.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids drink in college. A lot of kids do drugs in college. How bad did it get for you?
It got so bad that I think I would be sober. Well, I wasn't ever really, like, I was smoking every day, but I was also drinking probably like at least like 5 times a week. Wow. So there would be like 1 or 2 days a week where I wasn't drinking. And it just became this mode where I started feeling the tension arising inside me, some sadness, some anxiety, and I would want to run away from it. I would want to roll up a joint, drink, go to another party, hang out with another group of friends, and just stay totally externalized so that I wasn't feeling my own emotions.
Because that is such a college experience, and a lot of people's experience. It's like, I'm not going to track down why this is bothering me. I'll just drink for a while and then it'll feel better. Right. Okay, so that's where you were. So a lot of times that leads down a path of alcoholism, drug addiction, and all that kind of stuff. So did you have to hit rock bottom? Is that what happened, or what happened with you?
Yeah, I ended up personally hitting rock bottom just because my body just couldn't handle it anymore. Right. Wow. So the year after I graduated from college, I was absolutely miserable, just so miserable. I could feel the growing weakness of my body. And then there was one evening where I just, you know, did a bunch of drugs again, was partying, and then my heart was like giving out. It felt like it was literally going to explode. And I was on the ground. Felt like I couldn't breathe well. My heart felt just sort of manic.
That was scary.
And there was just so much pain like in the chest. And I ended up speaking to a doctor later, and she was like, "Oh, it sounds like you had a mild heart attack." And I was lucky that I didn't die that night. That was just one of the.
So that was kind of epiphany day for you?
That was the moment where I knew I couldn't keep living my life that way.
Okay, so now we want to change.
Yeah.
So the next morning you wake up, and what changes could you or did you even know to make?
The first change I made immediately was took the hard drugs, threw them away. Okay. I was like, I know I can't do this anymore. So I drew a line in the sand, and when I was on the floor, I spent this 2.5 hour period on the floor where I was just trying to will myself into life. I felt like I was just so on the edge. And in that moment, a few things really dawned on me. I knew that I was wasting the opportunity that my parents gave me. That became really clear in my mind. I also knew that the reason that I ended up in this place was because I was lying to myself. I was lying to myself and avoiding the fact that I didn't feel good, and I didn't have the strength to admit that. Right. And it hit me, if what got me to this point was me not telling myself the truth, then what I have to do is like be radically honest with myself. Like I have to tell myself the truth all the time.
Wow.
And from, literally that next week was like me going on walks, like me just doing like,
so just
breaking the patterns. Yeah. Breaking the old patterns.
So did you say to yourself, I want to get healthier?
Yes.
Okay.
Mentally
so
and physically healthier.
So let's go through some steps, because I think a lot of people have found themselves like on the brink. So you started walking. That's very easy. Doesn't cost anything.
No. Yeah.
So was that changing you a little? You could feel that?
Totally, because I was living such a static life. Like I was just like, sitting or just not sort of pushing myself in any way. So I remember going on walks like around the block and just, moving my body. I also would, in the moments emotionally when I would feel that same tension that would make me want to roll up a joint, I would challenge myself to literally just sit on my bed. This is before any meditating or anything like that. I didn't know how to meditate, but I would feel the tension come up, and I was like, okay, let's feel it, and I would just sit on the bed, feel the tension.
Wow.
And that was like one of the most empowering practices, because I realized that, okay, it sucks, doesn't feel great, but it's not as scary as I thought it was.
So you acknowledged it. You didn't try to push it away. You didn't try to drink it away or even run it away. People exercise things away. Right. So you sat, let it run its course. I would just sit, and I'm like, okay, this is what sadness feels like. This is what anxiety feels like. This is what, whatever it is that was coming up. So small movements, and then you did this. What about like your friendship circle, your diet, like all the things that are part of life?
Yeah, that was the big one. So in terms of the people I was interacting with, like I spent some time reflecting on how shallow my relationships were. So, my wife, my now wife, who's my girlfriend at the time, I realized that like I needed to like vocalize more so like how much I really love her. And the same thing with my parents. So I started trying to break the pattern of the ways that we would behave, where it was just like this, we'd say the same things to each other, same outcomes. So I was like, okay, let me play a little bit. Let me just like let them know that, I love them more. And I would see, even though the change was happening inside of me, because I was behaving differently, we would get a different outcome in our interactions.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it was fun seeing the deepening of that. And that was like over, like a year or 2 year process. So what did you say to your parents?
Like what was different?
The biggest thing was to my dad. My dad is like such a, he loves us so much, but he loves us through his actions.
Yeah.
And, he'd come home from work, he'd be so tired. And I remember this one day specifically where I just gave him the biggest hug, and he just got so caught off guard. I just gave him such a big hug, and I was like, I love you, man. Like, I love you so much. And he really softened up, and now he's much more in tune with his emotions. And, he's got a long journey ahead of him too, because so much has happened to him in his own life. But now I feel like we're actually seeing each other,
So what about, because when you partied like you partied, your friends partied too. So did you have to like say goodbye to your friends, or did you make new friends? What happened?
It was a mixture of things. I made some new friends. I spent more time with the new friends who had the habits and sort of the lifestyles that I was trying to cultivate. And I also let my old friends know, like, I'm trying to make these changes in my life. And at first, there was a little awkwardness in that we had to find new ways to hang out. But then it, after 2-3 months, like it became totally normalized. And I also got stronger internally, where I could go to someone's birthday party at a bar and I'd drink a ginger ale.
Right.
And it was like totally fine.
You felt okay about that.
Like nobody bothers you when you have a cup in your hand.
Yeah,
so I'd like drink my water or my ginger ale, and no one, and it's totally fine.
Well, you went, and the story that you just told is a story that I think many people have lived through, and that's not why you're sitting here, because you took that moment and you ran with it. You didn't, because you could have ended right there.
Yeah.
I've got a new circle. I have my girlfriend who's going to be my wife, and I'm going to live healthy. I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to do whatever. But you took it another step further.
Yeah.
You went from trying to figure out your own way of meditation and all that stuff to doing more intensive work. And the meditation that you do is crazy.
Serious. It's very serious, yeah.
I mean, it's how many days do you sometimes go on these meditative journeys?
Well, I just went on another 45-day course.
Okay.
That was January to the very end of February.
Okay, pause. 45 days.
Yeah.
You go somewhere to a place where you can meditate nonstop. And do you speak during that time?
No. You do, the teacher of the course does check in with you 2 times during that 45-day, but you're talking to the teacher, he asks you how you're doing, but it's like a quick sort of 4-minute check-in.
Now, most people listening aren't going to be doing that, but we can figure out ways to meditate that fit us. But what happened to you, because you made a big move like that, is you unlocked something inside of you. The reason you have all these best-selling books isn't because you were a writer by trade. It kind of started spilling out as the result of your meditation.
I was shocked. So I did that first silent 10-day meditation retreat in the summer of 2012, and that was after literally a year after that rock bottom moment. And after I did that course, I remember coming out of it and just feeling like my mind felt so much lighter. Like spending that time not running away from myself in a much more rigorous environment, I just made the load of my mind lighter, and I started feeling like this like growing creativity that wasn't there before, and that I really think everybody has inside of them, but a lot of the burdens that we carry, the pain of the past, it just loads up and clogs up the mind. And I sat that silent 10-day course, and then I ended up doing a second one 2 months later because I knew that I felt better, but I didn't understand why. So I wanted to go back and learn more. And by the time I did the third one, so I did 3 of them in like about 6 months. And after the third one, I felt this like sort of intuitively that I have to write. You feel better, and you're not fully healed. You have so much more to learn, but like reflect openly on what you're learning about.
So was writing something that you did in college?
Absolutely not. No. I majored in economics. I had a whole different plan for my life.
So all of this stuff was unlocked, and it's poetry, and it's beautiful, and people quote it all the time, and all of, you look on Instagram, if you're looking to find quotes, chances are it came from you, Young Pueblo, your pen name here for the book, obviously. But, I mean, I just think it's super cool that it spilled out. And were you surprised when you were like, wait, what's going on here?
I was really surprised, because I've never been inclined to self-help. I like to read nonfiction books. I like to read history books. I'm always sort of looking at the world in this macro way. But I knew that this inner evolution that was happening inside of me, this was really important to give time to meditating, to help alleviate that tension in my mind. And then that was just an externality, an outcome. It was all this creativity started coming out.
So crazy. Well, let's talk about, because I started meditating maybe a year and a half ago. I'd never done it before. I didn't think I had the temperament for it. I thought I was too busy. I can't, blah, blah, blah. But you do find, and I do a weird thing where when I meditate, I have, when thoughts pop up, I imagine myself sitting by a big bay window, and I pull open the doors of the big bay window, and I watch whatever I'm thinking about kind of fly away. Whether it's a person, they're always happily flying off. Even people I don't, if there's a tension or whatever, everybody's happy. And then I shut it, and then I feel like I go into this chair that's like a kind of a God hand chair, and I sit in it, and I feel calm. And if more things come up, I open it back up and try to release. But to explain what's happening during meditation, so I think if you've never done it, you're like, well, what is that? I sit quietly and think about my to-do list. But how would you describe it?
So the important thing to notice about meditation is that there are a lot of different meditation traditions. And that's something, there are many different Vedic forms of meditation, many different Buddhist forms of meditation, and then even within the Buddhist forms, there are so many different lineages. So the style that I do, when you, for example, when you go away to these silent 10-day retreats, the first 3 days, you are simply being aware of the breath. You are being aware of the breath coming in, going out, and you are, whenever the mind sort of wanders, you come and you bring it back to that breath. And what you find is that after 3 days of just gently bringing yourself back to that breath, the mind calms down. It concentrates the mind. There are still thoughts, right? The thoughts come and go, but you're not like clinging to them because you have another object to focus on, which is the breath. And after that, the mind calms down so much that you start taking that new awareness that you've developed and you start observing the body. And that's where that real sort of almost like cleansing power of that meditation comes. And you end up spending the next 7 days just understanding the truth of the universe within the framework of the body, because this body that we have is a small subset of the universe, contains all of that is out there, it's in here. And you get to learn that primary truth that a lot of people fight against, which is the truth of change, that everything's always changing.
Yeah, and change is super scary for a lot of people, all of us really, when you think about, wait, I'm either changing jobs or changing locations or, having children, I've never had them, or I'm doing this, I've never done that. So how would you, if there is somebody who has a big change coming up and is feeling anxious, and they always say, well, I just keep super busy and then I don't think about it.
Right.
What's a better route to go down?
I think you have to understand that the same way that change can be difficult, it's also really beautiful. And that's something, we have a really combative relationship with change. And we forget that all of the things that we love about life, the opportunities and the moments that have been created that have nourished us so deeply, they come from change. Because if this universe was totally static, nothing would exist. Nothing, it literally, to create life, what you need is movement, and movement is change. So think about it that way, where when you're having a moment that you really cherish, when you deeply embrace that truth of change, it makes you want to be even more present. Like, how am I going to, like, when are you and I going to have this moment again? This is so special. Let me give you the vast majority of my attention so that we can really connect. And then when it's over, it's over. We both knew it was going to change. It wasn't going to last forever. So thinking about it that way, it makes the sweet moments even more beautiful, and it makes the difficult moments even more tolerable, because okay, this isn't that great, but it's going to change.
I just saw some woman reading something, and she talked about how, sometimes you're looking for your gifts and you don't realize that you have to get to that place of change, and God has your gift over there. Why is it not coming to me here? Well, it's not supposed to. Your thing, it's when you make that shift, it's waiting for you.
Right.
If you take the leap and you don't stand here and try to be safe and comfortable.
Right.
Because I think there are a lot of people who aren't at rock bottom, but they're just humming along on a life that may not be as satisfying as they deserve. And they may think, well, you know what? It's not as bad as their life. You see, God put that person there so I could know that my life is good, because it's not as bad as that. But yet somehow in this life, it's a kind of settling for, so this is for someone who hasn't hit rock bottom, but maybe deserves more and doesn't know how to say it.
I'm really glad that you're bringing that up, because I think a lot of people are kind of passively waiting for a rock bottom moment when they don't need one. They don't need a rock bottom moment to shake them up, to wake them up. And I've noticed in my life, like, I had a rock bottom moment that changed my life. My wife didn't. She didn't have a rock bottom moment, but she did notice that she could be happier, right? That she could have less tension in her mind. So she started taking to meditating. And I know we're talking a lot about meditating, but I want to make it really clear to people who are listening, like, meditating works great for me, and I'm glad you're trying it out too, but it's not necessarily for everyone. But there are so many other things out there. Like, if you find a great therapist, I've seen so many different people in my life who've benefited from psychiatry, from journaling, from meditating, from, more like mindful exercise. There's just so much out there that can help you just come in contact with yourself so that you're not running away. And it's really about finding something that meets you where you're at. But I really don't believe that people necessarily need a rock bottom moment. But what they do need to realize is that whether you have experienced serious trauma or not, you have definitely had moments of hard emotions, like moments where you felt a lot of sadness, a lot of anger or a lot of jealousy, and these emotions, they get imprinted in the subconscious of the mind.
Right.
And that subconscious of the mind gets loaded up with all of these imprints that you've acquired throughout your lifetime. And they are literally affecting your perception of reality. They're affecting the way you react. And it takes intentional unbinding to come out of all of those dense patterns. And anyone can really benefit from, from cultivating themselves.
Well, when you talk about patterns, I think it's true, because how many times have you been sitting with someone and they say, I'm a cancer survivor. When did you have cancer? 12 years ago. So that's the definition of them 12 years later.
Right.
Or some people are defined by their scars. That's what they lead with. How are you? Oh, God, I just got divorced. When? 3 years ago. Okay. Everyone's got their thing, but
So
I feel like it's sort of like what you lead with becomes who you are. And we just had Jennifer Garner's mom on, and this was such a small thing, but I said, how was your flight in? And she said, oh, well, I flew from Charleston, West Virginia, and we missed our connection in Atlanta, and we came here, and someone said, oh, God, flying is such a pain. She goes, not really. And we said, why not? She said, because it's all how you look at it. She said, I said, I might make it and I might not, but either way, I'm fine. And she said, that's how I look at
so
everything.
cool.
She's 86 years old, and that's how she sees the world. So she's going to decide, because you can get whipped up by everybody around you, but it's like, I feel like so much of life is choosing. Like, she chose her path. And she goes, I'm so happy I'm here. She didn't say, oh, God, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I feel like so much of life is choice, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And that's so powerful that she's really living in the moment.
Yeah.
I think what you hit at a little bit earlier there, you were saying about how, like, I call it just having a flexible sense of identity, where, like, sometimes we, like, drag our past back into our present. And it's like, okay, these are important chapters of our lives that have really affected us, but do I need to keep thinking of myself in that manner?
Right.
And like, when I think of like how I was in the past, I don't even really like to use the terms like, alcoholic or drug addict or sober. It's like, I'm just living.
Yeah.
And like, I recognize my past and how difficult it was, but that almost feels like another life.
Yeah.
It's just so far gone. And I haven't consumed any intoxicants since, it's been like more than 8 years.
Yeah.
But I'm also like not even thinking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You live your life. And it's funny because even when you were talking about your upbringing, I've interviewed you a bunch of times and I didn't know the level. So it's not as if that's your lead story. You're like, that shaped me.
I'm always like, that's right. That's right.
By the way,
that did happen.
That was part of me. You know, a lot of people think to heal, wellness costs money. And we've mentioned meditation, but there are things like I tried breathworks for the first time. I thought breathing, at first when someone said you should try breathworks, I go, breathing? What I've been doing
my whole life,
since okay. I thought it seemed pointless.
Yeah.
And when I did the breathwork exercise for, I think it was literally 6 minutes, and it was she did a lower belly, high chest, and out all through your mouth, like that over and over and over. And I felt lightheaded. I was telling her I feel lightheaded. She goes, "That's fine." I said, "I feel kind of cotton-mouthy." She goes, "That's fine. Keep going, keep going." And literally after 6 minutes, I just exploded into tears. And I go,
"Yeah,
what was that?" She goes, "Oh, stress release, like a yawn." And I didn't realize that something that has been going on for years, and people now, I feel like it's everywhere, even though I've only just discovered it. But and you feel clarity and calm when you're done, which I found so surprising. And some of these things don't cost anything, right?
I think so. I'm glad you're pointing that out too, because I feel like we have to be really careful where a lot of what we need to thrive in life is just right there in front of you. It's just right there. It's like spending some more time in nature, like doubling down and really connecting with your friends and your family. These people who want to be connected to you, but now we have so much in between us. Like we have these cell phones that are just like stopping us from really being able to connect well with each other. And I find that a lot of the tools, like I'm really grateful that I meditate in the SN Goenka tradition, because you don't pay to go to these retreats. You can give a donation at the very end. Yeah, and then they don't even tell you how much they want you to donate. It's just give what you can give. And I find that really beautiful, because I like that there's a part of my life that doesn't have money involved, where like, you know, I don't make any money from it. I also, you know, I can donate, and it just feels like it's available. And I find that and that's something that I'm hoping society keeps moving in this direction, where healing almost becomes like a human right, right? Like you have the right to overcome this trauma, and society should support you. So like people need more access to therapists, more access to all of these, you know, beautiful healing tools that are giving people tangible results. Because, you know, if our minds are lighter, we're going to be a lot less harmful to ourselves and each other.
What do you think about, just given the climate, politically and otherwise? I feel like, you know, everywhere you look, someone's screaming at somebody, and it's a real bummer. Yeah. But how do you, and what advice do you have for people because I want to be calm and happy. I don't want to be reacting to some fight that someone got in on Instagram, you know, in some other state that you just happen to see it, and it whipped you up into a frenzy. How do you do that? Separate those things?
I think it's really it's so important to understand that you don't want to get stuck in a reactive loop where you see something and then you see the way the whole group is reacting to it, and you feel that pressure to react in the same way. I think one, it stops us from doing our own critical thinking, and at the same time, like, the world is a rough place. The world, like, even outside of the primary issues that you may care about, there's still so much harm in the world, and we have to be mindful to balance our approach so that we can still have our own compassionate action. We can find our ways to help, but we're not overloading ourselves with the drama.
I feel like it's so crazy when you think about when someone is on their phone and it's like, oh my gosh, a little boy drowned. Oh my God, that blouse is half off. The Yankees won. Everything gets the same, like, you're flipping through so quick. So it doesn't surprise me that there's an insensitivity, because it literally is the next.
And I think having a balance, right? Like, set up your week in a way where, like, there are times when you're like really plugged in, you're checking in on how the world's moving, how things are moving in your area as well, in your local area, but spend time like off the phone, like spend time where you're just like interacting with the people who are right next
your core
to
people.
You know? And I think separating that space, so that, because you want to have a sense of where the world is moving so that you can find your place in it and try to help in the ways that you find best.
But that doesn't mean you have to be glued to it at all. I was just thinking about something else. We had this actor on the other day, and he talked about life, and he gave this analogy, which I thought was cool. He said, you know, life is kind of like surfing. And I said, well, tell me. He goes, there are some times in life when you are like on the top of the wave and everyone is applauding you and like, wow, you're amazing. Look at him. And then, like all waves, And like all parts of life, it goes crashing down, and you'll crash down. And behind you, there are a bunch of other people who are going to catch the next ones. You'll see them coming behind you because that's the next wave of whomever. And then he said, life's all defined by how you paddle back. Like now you're going back, now you're going, like, you know what that feels like. But to think you're going to ride high on that wave, like no matter what your profession, no matter what your thing is unrealistic. And I liked that feeling of paddling back and going back to kind of see life from other perspectives.
I like that. It's interesting. I was thinking, even listening to you, I was thinking about that documentary that they did on the Patriots that Apple TV did a little while ago, and there was a moment where Tom Brady and then other people were mentioning how after winning, they now had this new expectation where they have to win all the time. It's like you always have to be number one. And I had a moment where I had a number one New York Times bestseller, and I was like, okay, that's huge. That's as high as it goes in terms of the writing world. And I was like, oh no. I was like, well, is this it? Like, is this like the thing? I have to do this every single time, all the time. And then I realized, I was like, oh wait, I actually cannot measure my life by this. Like, I can't measure the value and the depth and the goodness of my life by these sort of external accolades. And I'm grateful that the number one happened, of course, because the book is out there, it's reaching tons of people. But then it made me turn a little more inward and just focus in on like, okay, my life is actually measured by how my mind feels, how my relationship with my wife is going, are my parents happy, and just sort of like it made me just sort of double down on what was actually important. And like, sure, I would welcome another number one, but if it doesn't happen, that's okay.
See, that's such a good, and no matter what your profession is, I think we've all been there. It's like you've been at the top, and then it's like for an Olympic athlete, I always think about them. It's like you're 21 years old and you've got the gold. So now what happens when you're 31 and you're not an Olympic athlete anymore? And now how do you get that itch you can't scratch? But it's about finding that space. Your books are awesome. This
Thank
one's
you.
called The Way Forward. Tell me about Young Pueblo, the name you use on your books.
So Young Pueblo, so my real name is Diego Perez, and Young Pueblo kind of just came to me, and it developed more meaning over time, where when I started meditating, I started realizing, okay, I have a lot of growing up to do. But when I started examining the world through that same lens, I was like, oh, humanity as a whole is really immature. Like, we don't know how to do the basic things. Like, we don't know, when you go to kindergarten, they're teaching you how to clean up after yourself, how to tell the truth, how to, just be kind to one another, how to share, how to, these basic fundamental human qualities. We know how to do these things as individuals or in really small groups, but as a human collective, we're doing a terrible job of these things.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that it feels like we're in this moment where humanity is really trying to step up to the plate and do better. And I wanted to make sure that all the writing that I do, this like personal transformation and relationship work that that I write about, that it's within this understanding that humanity as a whole is young, because Young Pueblo means young people. And I'm hoping that these books that I put out are just one of the many sort of, millions of things that people are doing to push humanity forward.
What do your parents think of everything you've accomplished?
I think they're happy. I mean, they're happy that I'm doing well. I think that's the main thing. I remember, so my mom, when I started meditating, she was like, oh, I don't really get what you do, but you seem better.
That's what she knows. You're like, keep going, honey.
Yeah, she was like, keep going. Yeah.
And what about your success? That had to have been so, were they just freaked out by that?
I think they, so my parents are coming from, we're all immigrants, but my mom and dad, to them, they don't really understand what the New York Times is. They're sort of, in terms of American culture, they're still understanding it. But it really hit them when I had a big event at, I think it was a big event in New York City when I released my book Lighter, and it was just, sold out, like 900 people are at this event. And then I had I'm telling my story, and I actually had my parents stand up in the auditorium, and my mom and dad, and then everyone was like roaring, clapping for them. And I see my mom and dad, they were like, oh my gosh, like this is getting nuts,
So this podcast is called Making Space because we like to make room for things. So if you had a day that was just for you, you had no speeches, no podcasts, no events, nothing. You were chill, you're at home, you open your eyes, and the day's about to start. How would you spend that day that was just for you? When would you wake up? When would you go to bed? And how would you fill the hours in between?
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. I would wake up probably around like 9. I would meditate from 9:15 to 10:15, and then I would make myself a coffee, and then I'd probably go for like a 2.5 hour walk. Just go for a long walk. I wouldn't even try to stress my body. I wouldn't go, because I've been running a lot. I'm like, let me just go for a nice long walk, and then come back, like make lunch with my wife, and then watch some like really silly reality TV.
Love it.
And then then probably bring her on another walk with me, and just like have a really relaxing time, just talking with her and being, because we live in Western Mass. We live on land, and we have the woods around us, so it's quite beautiful out there. But I would just really enjoy her presence. I think like she's like my beautiful best friend,
Wow.
So it feels so nice to just be able to be together, cook together, listen to her, and think with her. We do a lot of thinking together. Yeah.
Beautiful. You guys got to get Young Pueblo's books. They're full of great wisdom. They're beautiful little poems. And I mean, you can open the book to anyone and you just are like, wow. I feel like all these little bits and pieces will make you feel like you're taking baby steps to where you need to go.
Oh, thank you so much.
Diego, thanks so much. We love you again. Young Pueblo is the name on the books, The Way Forward and Lighter. Catch both of them. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so happy to be sitting with you. And you were so, okay, so the very first impression of you, and I've read and know about you, but first impression is you're super kind and you're super, like, you make everyone feel good. I just heard you ask, you know, your friend assistant to take a picture. Can you please? Can you please? And I'm like you.
Yes.
I'm that person. So I found in my life that when people see people like us, sometimes they're like, I don't know if she knows. You know, they make judgments about a kind person because they mistake kindness for weakness.
Right.
And I spent most of my life going, no, I'm nice, but I know what I'm talking about. No, I'm nice, but you're not going to step on me. I'm nice, however.
Yes.
How did you combat all of that stuff in your life?
Well, first, thank you for that. Thank you for that. That is such an honor to hear you share that. And I also believe you see that in me because that's in you.
Yes.
Because that's in you. So thank you for that. I think this is such a thing, Hoda, that like almost every one of us who is kind or generous or loving, I feel like we get underestimated, right? So much. And then when you couple it with the fact that we're raised in a world, so many of us to be people pleasers, and especially as women, it's this like delicate thing, right? And so I think part of, for example, my whole self-worth journey in my life, which I think is going to be lifelong, and it's wild. I used to think I was alone in this, but 80% of women, we don't believe we're enough.
Yeah.
We think I need to please other people in order to be loved or that kind of thing. And I believe that most of my life. So for me, it's been a lifelong journey. And there's so many moments, you know, I started a company in my living room with this idea, thought it's gonna help so many people. And it was a journey of hundreds and hundreds of no's and people not believing in what I was doing. And it was a long journey of learning, like, okay, they're underestimating me.
Yeah, here they go again. I want to get to this journey because people who I'm sure know this about you, but you started this cosmetic company in your living room and you ended up selling it for $1.2 billion to L'Oreal, like insane. But I want to go back because when you were a little girl growing up in your house, first of all, close your eyes and you're now in your childhood bedroom where you grew up. You can see the posters on the walls and the books on the shelves and the sheets and whatever else you had. Open your eyes and describe what that looked like.
Oh my goodness. Well, the first thing that comes up is I had a poster of Michael Jackson.
Of course, everybody did.
And I had like the white glove
Oh,
that
yes.
you wear.
Oh, yes. You were all in. Yeah.
All in, fully committed. Another thing that comes up is I used to watch Oprah every single day. I was home alone a lot as a little kid, and used to watch her every single day. And I remember there was this moment, and maybe you remember this moment actually. I was like 8 years old. So I'm thinking about being a little girl now, and she was being interviewed by Barbara Walters, and she said to Barbara, she said, I always knew I had greatness inside of me. I always knew I was destined for greatness. And I remember when she said those words, because I remember being 8 years old, and I remember thinking like, me too. Like I felt this like, right. And meanwhile, I'm in the middle of a suburb of, I was adopted and I did not know yet that I was adopted. No one in my family had ever gone to college, and I had a loving family, but they worked like multiple jobs, 100-hour weeks, and I was home alone a lot. And I remember just sitting there that moment as a little girl, kind of like having that knowing. Yeah, but not knowing what that meant yet in my life. And I feel like maybe someone listening to us can relate to this, where you kind of have that whisper, like,
I know that feeling.
You know that feeling, right? Like I think I'm supposed to like serve others or help or create or do something, but I didn't yet know like how to believe I was worthy of that or how it was going to happen. But I had that whisper. So when I think about being a little girl, I think about that moment, but yet not knowing, and also Hoda feeling different in that. Like I wasn't. I didn't have a lot of friends or family that kind of had that type of a feeling.
You were like a Lone Ranger there a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you spent a lot of your time, you said, alone when you were growing up? Were you kind of a latchkey kid, or was it like that?
Yeah, my parents worked a lot, and I was the only child, and I didn't yet know I was adopted, so I hadn't met a lot of different family
So
members yet.
I've adopted 2 girls.
Yes.
So when did they tell you that you were adopted? When did that conversation happen?
Well, so by accident.
Oh,
so it and it was not until my late 20s that I found out by accident. Yeah, and then I went on this sort of multi-year.
How did you find out?
So my mom who raised me, who was the closest person to me in my life. By the way, this is how I knew I would adopt my whole life. And what's wild is I always told her I'm going to adopt, and I had no idea that I was adopted.
So you kept repeating this.
Yeah,
and she
always. And I would watch those World Vision commercials, and I would tell her, and I'm like, one day I'm going to adopt a kid, and I'd tell her, and they never told me. And then I was, my late 20s, and my mom had one daughter who I thought was my blood sister. She had died when she was 9 days old, and I went to get a photo of her from my mom's house. And it was Christmas Eve, and she gave me the photo of my sister, who I had thought, died when she was 9 days old. And I just looked at the photo, and I turned it over and saw the date was a few months before I was born. And I said to her, Mom, I thought Jody was like a year and a half older, but this says this date. And she just got really quiet. And in hindsight, she probably could have said, oh, someone wrote it wrong. But she just got really quiet, and she says, well, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I think maybe you've suspected this, but you're adopted. And I'm like, what?
I have chills all over my body right now.
Well, what's wild is like that's the person who's closest to me in my entire life. And it almost felt like I was in total shock. Of
course.
But it kind of felt
Did you suspect?
No.
Yeah. She was
No.
like, she was, maybe that made her feel better. Like you probably knew all along, but.
Yeah, no, I never suspected. And it was wild. And so I went on a multi-year search.
Were you mad at her?
I was shocked. I felt like, what else don't I know?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Who am I?
Who am I?
All of it, and in hindsight, I think that I had some rebellious years as a teenager, and I think maybe it was a blessing I didn't know, because who knows what I would have disappeared and done, going to look for. Or I have no idea.
Did you ever seek out your birth parents?
Yeah, by the way, I've never even talked about this, so
I'm so fascinated.
Show or anything.
Yeah.
I started watching all of these adoption shows where you'd see the parents run through the wheat field, the music playing, and reunite. And so I thought that's going to happen. And then I would, I was working as a journalist at the time.
I know you were, yeah.
And so I thought I could find out anything.
Yeah.
And so I would just go down these rabbit holes for hours and hours and hours, trying to find her. Yeah. And year after year went by. I started. My mom had given me some paperwork that had her a little bit of info, but I didn't know if it was real. And it had a first name and a last name that I learned later was not real. But I called thousands of women, variations of that name over years, just trying to see, is this her? Is this her? And many years later, I actually found her through an agency, a search agency, found her. And so now she's in my life. My birth mom I still don't know my birth dad, but yeah, she's in my life, and I have 2 brothers, and I met her in my 30s. Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah.
Was your relationship with your mom, the woman who adopted you when you were a baby, was that altered forever, or were you able to get some kind of footing, or?
Yeah, no? It was tricky. My dad, who passed away, never wanted me to know, and they had just decided not to tell me. And here's what's tricky. Hoda, in our lives, a lot of us go through where we start to parent our parents, everything switches. And my mom's health is not super great, and she just passed this last year. But she was the closest person to me, and I had to kind of make this decision of, do I want to carry resentment? Do I want to forgive and just love in this remaining years she's here in this earth? The other thing that it taught me that I will keep with me forever, I love my mom who passed away this last year. I love her, Hoda, like more than I can ever imagine loving. So like I love her, and she is the person that like was by my side learning to believe I was worthy. She was the person that when days I like was tempted to doubt myself out of my own destiny, you know, she would just like believe in me, tell me like who I am is enough. And I've been on this lifelong journey of trying to believe that for myself, but I love her so much. And what it taught me is like, oh wow, I now know I'm adopted. I now know we're not related, and yet I love her more than like I can imagine loving a person. And so it taught me what I think you already know, which is that you don't have to be related by blood to have just like the most soulful, like we're in this life together kind of a relationship. So that was the greatest lesson.
I wonder how all of that stuff formed you, because in ways you can probably identify in ways that you probably will be learning all the way throughout your life. But to be a young journalist whose mom cheered her on, but maybe wasn't so sure herself, and who was concerned about, you know, because TV journalism was a lot about looks and how you carried yourself. And talk about, rejections. I tried to get a job, and I had like 27 news directors turn me down flat, face to my face, over and over and over. And they were like, you're not the look we want, you're not what we need, you're not that qualified, and I had all the things that were strange and unusual during that time. It's like stop sign glasses and crazy hair and a name no one could pronounce. And, I was a big girl, and I was like, okay, it's not working. But how do you think, to have the confidence to do that job in the first place, forget about all that comes with it, that took something. A wallflower can't do that. Someone who doesn't have confidence can't stand there. I watched some of your reports just now. You were good. I was like, you knew what you were doing. You had some mojo, but you had confidence from the beginning, you think?
Yeah. One thing, I just want to call this out, just for anyone listening. I just have to say this. Hoda just said 27 news directors rejected you to your face.
To my face.
And you are like Hoda copy, you know what I mean?
It's so crazy how it works.
Yeah, and then for me, it's like I went through hundreds and hundreds of rejections, like investors saying that they didn't think women would buy makeup from someone who looks like me with my body and my weight, so they're passing on investing.
Pause.
So many rejections.
Wait, that style rejection?
Oh yeah, everything.
You were trying to get money for your cosmetics company?
Yeah.
And somebody said to you, Yeah. Was it a guy?
Yeah, and it was, and they loved the product, and it was, this amazing investment firm, meaning they're really, really well known.
Yeah.
And at the very end, it came down to, and I was just trying to survive, and it was like after no, after no, after no, and I obviously didn't yet know. You didn't know yet at 27 rejections that you would be anchoring the Today Show. And I didn't know I would have one of the most successful cosmetic companies in the world. But all I knew is I'd gotten rejection after rejection after rejection. Yeah, it came down to we were trying to survive. We were a couple years in, and they loved our product. And at the very end, I thought, oh, this is going to be our saving grace. Like, we're not going to go bankrupt. We're going to keep the company alive. Right,
this investment group.
Yeah, and he said at the end, like, congratulations, you should be really, really proud of this product. It's a great product, but it's a no. We're going to pass on investing in it cosmetics. And I said, okay, can you tell me why?
Tell me why.
And at that point, I was so used to hearing no, but he got really quiet and he said, do you want me to be really honest with you? And this was all in person, his whole firm. My husband was there about 3 feet away.
I can't.
And I said, yes, please. And he said, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. And I remember that moment, Hoda, like 2 things. I remember the moment he said that. First of all, I didn't even get angry. I felt like a lifetime of body doubt and self-doubt, like fled my body all at once. So it kind of felt like I was staring my own fear straight in the eye. But when he said those words, I'll never forget this. I got this feeling like deep down inside.
The same one, like from Oprah.
Like that gut feeling. And this one's like, he's wrong. Like I felt it, like that said, he's wrong.
He's wrong.
And when I look back at that moment, and this is for anyone today, by the way, who is having a rejection or a setback or someone not seeing your value or 27 news directors saying no. When I look back at that moment when he said those words to me and I got that feeling, what I know, what I believe in my soul, to my core happened, Hoda, was like he gave me a no, but God gave me a knowing, right? That knowing that said he's wrong, because I needed to lean on that knowing for the next several years. Because what happens to us when someone doubts us or says something hurtful or doesn't see our value is like so many times in the years after, it would replay in my mind. And I'd have to go, okay, no, I've got to turn down the volume on his words and remember that knowing and like lean on it that says like he's wrong, I'm supposed to keep going. And so I feel like
thank God God's voice is so strong in there.
Yes.
How do you know if it's God's voice? And I've thought this myself. Is this me, my gut saying yay, or is this God's voice? Because sometimes I question myself. I'm like, do I just really want this? Or is that my intuition and my soul speaking? Or is it even, is it divine? Is it God? Is it something bigger? How do you know? How did you know?
For me, I feel like I hear God through my intuition. And I feel like it's this sort of like lifelong journey of, I feel like it's building a muscle, right? One of my favorite ways to tune in, of course, try getting still and saying like, does this feel like a divine download, like a whisper, like a still small voice? And how I love to kind of strengthen that. And again, I feel like it's a lifelong journey, but I'll look back at moments in my life where I had a feeling and like I didn't listen to it. You know, like I knew the dude's phone did not break and he like disappeared for 3 days. You know what I mean? And I just chose like, oh, maybe it broke. And,
maybe it did.
And like, I'll just think about those times and be like, and then what happened when I didn't trust it? Or when you have this feeling and everyone says whatever, but you go with it. And then kind of what happened. And where I've come to is that, because a lot of people will say like, well, what if, I trust my gut and it's wrong? And I believe that when you really listen to your knowing, your gut, I think it's never wrong. I think that it leads you to like the next right step or the next right lesson.
And I think when people are people pleasers, I think you find, I used to do this in relationships, you're such an optimist that it will work. I'm an optimist. I can fit a circle in a square. Watch me. Even though it doesn't belong there, but you're still trying, because sometimes seeing the sunny side makes you think it's fixable. It could work. I can push it harder. I'm just not working hard enough. If I worked harder, and sometimes there's knowing like, wait a minute, I've been swimming upstream for 5 years. And then this is weird. I worked at Dateline for many years, and it was I felt like I was always kind of struggling. It was going to Iraq and Baghdad and West Bank and Gaza and things like that, and murders and Rikers and stuff I did, but I felt like it wasn't me. But I kept going and going and going. And I remember the very first day I anchored with Kathy Lee when she was working here. It felt like I was riding a wave, and I was like, what is this? Like, what is this thing that feels like a warm hand on my heart?
Yes.
This can't be work, right? I mean, is this the right thing? And because you always think hard work must be a struggle.
Right.
When sometimes when you hit it right, like it should feel like a little bit like flow, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
like you're in alignment with your
So
assignment.
what about, I like that.
Yeah, it's how it feels, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, part of, why I wrote Worthy,
Yes.
the book Worthy,
Yes.
is because with 80% of us not believing we're enough, or we talk about work, 75% of female executives deal with imposter syndrome, right? And we feel, whether it's being a people pleaser or whatever, we feel like we've got to show up as our representative, or we are the kind of people that always figure it out. So I'm going to carry this relationship or this friendship, or I'm going to subsidize that person because I'm just strong, or I'm going to go do this assignment even though it doesn't feel right because work should be hard work. And then similarly, when we show up as our representative all the time, which is what most of us do, we think we need to play this part for someone to love us, or we need to play this part for people to respect us at work. And it's like every time we show up as someone as who we're not, we're literally telling ourselves we're unworthy of being who we truly are. And there's a chapter in Worthy called "You're Not Crazy, You're Just First," and it's all about how
That's a great title.
Because so many of us, right? So many of us think like, oh, the things that are odd or strange or quirky or different or unique, or that 27 news directors said no about, those are the things we're supposed to hide or that are wrong with us. And they're actually the things that are most right with us. And I'm guessing, tell me if this is right, when you showed up with Kathy Lee, and you were just like fully you.
Yes.
You're fully you.
Yes.
Right?
I was free.
You're free. And we get so scared that if I need to be my, this, that, or the
this
other.
anchor person, or with this haircut and the blazer and all
and
that.
now look at you.
Yeah, it's so much
right?
better.
And for me in the beauty industry, I was like, no, I know I'm supposed to take my makeup off and show my rosacea. I know I'm supposed to have models in their 80s and 70s and women with hyperpigmentation or acne. Like I knew in my soul that's what I was supposed to do to try to shift this whole way that the beauty industry was at the time. And everyone said it was never going to work. And then that is the thing, Hoda, because we ended up getting one big shot on QVC after years of hearing no.
Yes.
And in that one shot, we were so close to bankruptcy. And it was like everything was on the line, and everyone was telling me, okay, if you want a shot at staying, at hitting their sales numbers, here's how you need to produce your segment, put this type of model, all the same age, skin tone,
the same, we know
skin.
the look. Yeah, so what did you say? You said, no, I don't think so?
I cried in my car for 2 weeks because I was so scared to death I was going to make the wrong decision. Yep. But I'm like, I know that knowing. I prayed in my car, and I went live in this 10-minute segment, and we were this close to bankruptcy. And I'll never forget the 10-minute clock started. God. And by the way, Hoda, you'll know this so well. I learned you're not guaranteed 10 minutes. Everything was on the line in one shot. Apparently, they know sales numbers by the second. Yeah. So it's almost like ratings, I guess. But if you're not hitting numbers by the second, you think you have 8 minutes left, your clock jumps to 1 minute and you're done. So it was this moment in my company. Everything was on the line.
So what did you do in that 10 minutes or the first couple minutes?
I decided to, and it felt, I'm going to jump out of my seat. It felt exactly how you're describing when you started with Kathy Lee. I just was I want no regrets. I'm going to be full out soul first. And we went live, and I showed my bright red bare face before a shot. I had models every age, shape, size, hyperpigmentation, acne, every skin tone, every skin challenge.
You put makeup on yourself?
Yeah, and I showed it without, and I used, I stayed true to this vision that everyone said wouldn't work, that had made everyone say no, all the retail stores say no. And at the 10-minute mark, the giant sold out sign came up across the screen.
You sold out in 10 minutes?
We sold over 6,000 units of product in 10 minutes. I start crying on national television. I remember my husband comes running through the double doors of the QVC studio. I thought he was going to hug me, and he's like, "We're not going bankrupt." And I'm like, "Real women have spoken." And Hoda, it is
Love it.
I'm just thinking of every person listening right now who is scared to show up in this world as who you are.
Yes.
And it's like, or they think, oh, someone's done my idea.
Someone's done
or
that.
This,
That's the
or
one.
that. It's like,
or it's too hard, or everyone gives you 15 reasons why it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So you knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
You're not bankrupt, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
How do you go from not bankrupt to selling it to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion, this makeup
Isn't that
line?
wild?
Crazy.
Yeah. When I was a waitress at Denny's, I
Yeah.
could have never
Like,
imagined.
huh?
I could have never imagined.
Yeah.
I did it by just absolutely staying committed
Yes.
to the authenticity of
Yes.
our mission and what I felt in my
Yes.
gut. And by the way, it was not easy.
Because they probably want to
It's
pull
not
you, like
easy.
you want to sell more units. Let's do this. Let's,
Every retailer wants, well, this is on trend. Do all these products, even if they're not
and
good.
you're like, no.
Yeah, and it was just it
So you
was
stayed
really
with it.
Yeah, and I think like for and same as how you are top
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah.
It's because like who you truly are.
You just became.
Yeah, and that's the thing is my prayer for anybody listening today is like if they're just feeling like they're not enough or they're unworthy of being who they truly are. It's like, no, those are not the things wrong with you. You think they are, but they're
No.
not. They're the things most right with you because you can only have a connection with another human being if you're fully you.
Now, if you hadn't have been successful with It Cosmetics,
Yeah.
where do you think you would be with like self-worth? Like, let's pretend it.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could have a great product, but just because of timing in life and I don't know, just
Yeah.
regular stuff, it doesn't
course.
really happen. Do you think it would have affected how you saw yourself?
Yeah, so this I think is one of the biggest aha moments in my entire life.
Okay.
I believe the lie. Let me put it this way. I believe the lie most of my life. If I achieve enough or make enough people happy, then I'll finally feel enough.
Yeah.
And Hoda, I lost decades of my life just like thinking, oh, I've got it, this and this and that. And what I know now, and I learned this through an experience, a life-changing experience of meeting Oprah that I completely sabotaged. I learned, oh wow, self-confidence. When you achieve something, right? For everyone listening who's
Yeah.
ever said, oh, when I get that promotion, then I'll finally feel enough.
Yeah,
or when I
yeah.
hit that goal
Yeah.
weight,
Yes.
I'll finally
Yes.
feel enough. Or I find a partner. Or
Yeah.
those things all build confidence. But if you've ever achieved a goal and you arrive at it and you're like, why do I still feel like something's
Still feel like
missing?
something's
Why
off.
do I feel like it's not enough and
Yeah.
I'm not enough? It's
Yeah.
because all those things build self-confidence, but none of them build self-worth,
Yeah.
which is different. And And this is huge because our self-worth becomes our ceiling in life.
Yeah.
And we can achieve all the things. We can, if you've ever met someone who you're like, oh my gosh, they have so much going for them. Why are they in a relationship where the person mistreats them? It's because they can build self-confidence in their career or in how they look or in their
That's good
whatever.
observation, right?
But underneath it all, if you do not have self-worth, your self-worth becomes your ceiling, right? And here's an example that's really embarrassing, but I think the last 3 years I've become obsessed with studying self-worth because when we do not believe we're worthy, we will sabotage things, we'll stay stuck, we'll think I've got to get more experience or skill set when really underneath it all, we actually don't believe we're worthy of the thing, so we don't go for it. And you can believe you're worthy in some areas and not others. So after my, I shared with you, I used to watch Oprah in my living room growing up, and I always had this feeling like, oh, I'm going to meet her. So fast forward 40 years, I had sold my company I was donating millions and millions of dollars, was so passionate about everything, was so confident.
Yes.
Met Oprah, went to her house for a 3-hour lunch, right? We sat down and we had a 3-hour lunch. And remember, I was really confident at the time, but I did not know that underneath it all, I still did not have self-worth. I didn't believe I was enough. And that day, she gave me her cell phone number and said, call me anytime. You can call me anytime. And Hoda, I left her house, and I did not call her for 4 years. And in the 4-year window, I thought like, oh, I just need the perfect thing to say. That's why I haven't called her. Oh, everyone wants something from her. I'm going to prove to her, like, I don't need anything. I don't need a new car or whatever. Like, I told myself these reasons, and 4 years later, it hit me, and I realized, like, deep down inside, the reason I had not called her was because deep down inside, I did not believe I was worthy of being her friend. And when we do not believe we are worthy of something, whether it's being in a healthy relationship or asking for the promotion or putting our business idea out there, we will sabotage it all day long. And that was when I called her. Number one.
Wow.
That was the day I became obsessed with understanding the difference between self-confidence, which is very important, and self-worth.
Did you explain that to her, or did you just call? And
I have.
Oh, you did.
I have, and this is what's wild, Hoda, is like, okay, now we're sitting here. It's now been 4 years since I called her, and I just taught a course with her for her community. I'm launching my own podcast for the first time at the end of this month, and she's the first guest.
Yes.
We did a 3-hour interview. I would love to have you on.
I'd love to be on. Oh my God.
But here's what's wild, Hoda, is like when we believe we are not enough innately as a human being, it is a lie. It is a lie. And why I wrote Worthy is like, oh my gosh, I feel like building self-worth isn't like what we have to learn. It's actually like what we unlearn. It's unlearning all the lies that lead to self-doubt, that lead to us believing we're not enough. And when I think about, I'm going to cry if I think about it too, but the Oprah thing, it's like, I almost doubted myself out of it. It almost didn't happen. I almost never called her. And it's like when I think about every person listening to us right now, what has self-doubt already cost them? Right? All of us. And what's almost not going to happen if we're not on this self-worth journey of like learning to believe we're worthy of the thing. Because we are. We're worthy of the relationship where we don't have to carry it. Like we're worthy of feeling how you felt when you sat on set, right, with Kathy Lee, and we're worthy of being in alignment with who we're born to be.
I think that is so beautiful. I was surprised to learn that you really can kind of unring the bell. You really can take old patterns. So how did you do it? Like, what did you do to get there?
Yeah. Well, I love that you said that, because it's never too early.
Yeah.
It's never too late to start building self-worth.
Yes.
And I think about someone could be in their 80s or 90s starting to build self-worth.
Yes.
That will impact generations in your family. Like, it's never too late. So I love that. And for me, I became absolutely obsessed. I've read every possible thing out there you can read, every research paper, and Hoda, I used to think I was alone, which is why I was sharing, like, oh my gosh, 80% of women, 73% of men feel inadequate and not enough. And then you start breaking it down. 91% of girls and women don't love their bodies, right? 89% of us opt out of meaningful activities, including interaction with friends and loved ones, when we don't like how we look. Like, I started thinking about all the ways that self-doubt and believing I was unworthy have cost me in my life. And I just became obsessed with it. And I realized, I have a friend, Rory Vaden, who says this quote, that in life we're best positioned to serve the person we once were. And it kind of reminds me, right, that like, oh yeah, sometimes, and everyone's always searching for purpose, and it may not be your job. It might actually be like the things you've gone through that have become the things you've made it through or are making it through. And now you can help other people make it through. And I realized that not believing I am enough has been the one thing in my life, whether it's, growing up, parents working all the time, and then eventually found out I'm adopted, and all the different things, learning to believe I'm enough in business, I'm enough in my career, but why am I staying with someone who's really mistreating me? Or I'm, enough in this area, but why do I doubt I'm enough to have this friendship? And it has been the biggest struggle for me. And then I realized it's so many of us. And so, that's when I decided to write
Really
Worthy.
This
and
book
just
has got it all. I mean, because it also has steps that people can actually apply.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of books, because I love to read these kind of books, a lot of them are like, oh, okay, that happened, but you have concrete things people can do. And I think that's really key. The thing about imposter syndrome, I'm always surprised at how many people we have on the show, from the biggest stars in Hollywood, Jodie Foster or Jamie Lee, whoever, who struggle with self-worth. Yeah. You're like, wait, you? How many times have I said that? Wait, you? Really? Yeah. But you can, and we had Audra McDonald on, one of the most talented Broadway actresses. She's won more Tonys than anybody, ever. And she has imposter syndrome. I said, after which Tony award did you stop feeling that? And she goes, I still feel it. Yeah. Every day.
And all those awards build self-confidence.
Yes,
None
not
build self-worth, right? That's what we're talking about. Biggest, and I love this because Hoda, oh my gosh, and I love products because I sold at cosmetics, but every commercial, all the things, we somehow are raised thinking, oh, when I finally get that, when I finally hit the goal weight, when I finally win the 14th Emmy, then I'm going to feel
then
enough.
I'm going to have it, right.
Yeah, and those things, again, they build confidence, and that's really important. But they don't build self-worth. And so, and it's why for anyone can identify at this, because we're all different. Someone's goal might be, to have a child, or it might be to, publish their book, or whatever it might be. But like, whatever goal you arrive at, you still take you with you. And it's why lottery winners sabotage everything, or Olympic athletes. You're like, oh my gosh, they won the gold. How did they destroy their lives? Or they're so famous. How did they do this? And it's like, all those things are great for confidence, but you also take you with you. So it's like, how do you raise your self-worth? And so Worthy is, there's over 20 tools like on how you build self-worth, all the lies that to work on unlearning lies like I should wait on my weight to live my best life, right? Lies like I need to please them in order to love me. Lies like I don't have anything special to offer. If people knew the real me, I wouldn't be loved. These are so many lies that we think we're alone in believing, and they lead us to not being who we truly are. So then we can never feel the feeling you felt sitting there with Kathy Lee when you just know this is who I am.
Sweet spot.
So wide open.
When you can find it.
Yeah. And we can find it in marriages and relationships and
Yes.
friendships
Yes.
and in all areas of our life. But it starts with believing you're worthy
Right.
of being who you truly are, that
Yes.
you're worthy of those things in your life.
Yeah, and I think if you take stock in the odds, I've often thought this about my life. Like if someone had told you the odds,
Yeah.
here are the odds of you making it.
Yeah.
And if someone really did the math and said you're the odds of you making it, which would probably be the odds of me making it, like 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah.
I want to wish you good luck. You know, if you knew, because sometimes not knowing what you're up against, I feel like makes it less daunting. It's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get something or not, but I'm not going to stop until I find it. The reason that, I mean, this book, how many weeks on the New York Times bestseller list?
Worthy just hit 14 weeks.
Okay.
14 weeks in a row.
You know, no books stay on the New York Times bestseller list for 14 weeks. There's clearly a reason that Worthy has remained there. It has something I feel like we all need. And it's a beautiful book. You're such a beautiful human being, by the way. I just have to say, you're just like so full of light. I get why you and Oprah are friends. I get why I'm going to be on your podcast. I get all of it. So I just want to say congratulations on everything. And everyone pick up Worthy. It's a great book. It's by Jamie Kern Lima. It's Worthy, How to Believe You Are Enough and Transform Your Life. And again, simple steps and life-changing results. And it's a beautiful book, just the cover itself. Jamie, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You're so good. God, this is so good. This is so good. I want to like go run a marathon or something now.
I am so grateful. It is
I am so happy. I'm so happy to be sitting with you. First of all, you are one of my very favorite people because you personify what I think a lot of people want to be, and it's true and it's in you. We sat here for the last 5 minutes, and I know what drives you through life. Okay, I already know. Okay, you really do. You have a path that you're on, and that's a combination of loving yourself, your spirituality, and I guess that's just sort of your tenets
and my kids
and your kids. So tell me about what your kind of guiding principles are through life.
Well, being raised in a very like Christian home, I think like you have those like morals and those standards that are always in you, whether you stray away from religion and the Bible or you make up your own views, whatever it is. But the thing that always really stuck with me is my mom always said, you have to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I mean, it is biblical, right? So I always have taught my kids that, but leading through, like having that lead me through life has always been a reminder that kindness is always going to get you farther than anything. And it's never cost me anything being nice. That's it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And so when did you, because often when we're raised, we're taught things, and I've thought this about my own life too, we're taught things and we wonder like which things do I believe because I know them to be true, or what things were just taught to me. Sometimes you're like trying to figure out what are my beliefs, my values. And I mean, everything we've been taught has been great, but I think as we grow, we're like, okay, let me parse through some of these things and figure out what I believe to be true, not what was taught to me. Are those different for you, or?
I think so. I mean, my mom and I are so close, so we have these kind of conversations all the time. And I ask her a lot, like, would you go back and would you change anything being my mom and how you raised me and how you taught me? And I think one of the things that she always kind of goes back to is just bigger conversations, bigger, meaningful, like in-depth kind of like checking in. And I'm glad that she said that, because it makes me feel like I'm, you know, when I'm even checking in with my 4-year-old, he's so young, but I know that I'm doing the right thing. So for me, like the things that I was taught, I was never a good communicator, and that was kind of like the world of my home was like, you can brush it under the rug and just keep it moving.
Keep going, yeah.
And I'm glad that I've stopped myself from doing that, because brushing things under the rug is not the way to deal with anything. You really do have to meet some things, not everything, but some things head on. And the more that I've met it head on, even if it's just within myself or with the confrontation of whatever that thing is, or that person, whatever, it has made my life easier instead of brushing. Brushing doesn't
do anything. Let's talk about when you were little, because what you said resonates with me too. My parents were always very much like, it's going to be fine. Drink some water, stand up, keep moving. And so when I remember distinctly getting teased in school, and I remember sitting in the front of the bus going to Stephen Foster Middle School and just wishing we would get there. Like, just get me to school, and get me home. Now, I don't remember having conversations with my parents about those kinds of things. We just did the school day. How was school? Good, good. We didn't have those things. So when things were said to you as a little girl, and they stung, because it's a big ouch when you're so little, did you share them? Did you march on? Like, what'd you do?
It was, I always remember internalizing a lot and remembering the same thing. My mom and dad would always be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Everything's fine. Again, brush it under the rug. Yeah. And, but I do remember some very pivotal times where I would say to my mom, why does my body look like this? And I would point at things, and she would always remind me, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't fit into this family. And I am really grateful for that. I think about kids that are adopted, and I think about kids that are blended families that don't necessarily like have the same bloodline as their parents. Right. But I always think about how the people that are raising you are the ones that love you the most, hopefully, and they're the ones that are always going to be pouring into you.
Did it land as a little kid, though? Because when you're young and your mom's like...
No, it didn't. But I think it was the start. It was the start of... It was the start of me being able to look outside of what I just saw as these big red stretch marks or a bulge of fat that came out of nowhere and say, why am I having that? Oh, wait, but my mom did say that she has that too, but nobody else in school has that. But I think, like, I remember being a kid just not even being able to process what that meant, and just kind of not getting depressed about it, because I always had a happy disposition because I came from that kind of family, but also internalizing it. And thank God social media wasn't around.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God I wasn't having photos taken of me all the time. I think about the mental state of middle school and high school girls, and what they're thinking about themselves, and really like what's going to happen to them when they're in their mid-30s, where I am. Have they already hurt themselves? Have they already like indoctrinated themselves in the fact that like they don't think that they're pretty enough, and they never will be because of the number on their social media? Like I grieve for those young girls all the time, because as hard as it was for us when we were in school without social media, I can't imagine it then.
Because what's funny is, as you were saying this, I was just remembering a moment, which I hadn't thought of in a while, where I was in like 8th grade maybe, and we were, or maybe 7th, we were playing Spin the Bottle to do kissing. And I still remember I was praying it would land on this one kid, and it did. And I was like, oh my God. And he looked, I still remember this, he looked over at me and he goes, I think that's going too far. I'll never forget it. Now, that was all those years ago, because he was basically saying, oh no, I couldn't even kiss that person. And I remembered thinking to myself, like, what it felt like just among that small group. The idea that there would be a ripple effect, and tomorrow the school would know, and the next day the neighborhood would know, and X, Y, and Z. But those ouches stay, present. Like you don't forget them. What did you do with your ouches? And were any clear to you, or was it just, kind of memories of?
I think I have a lot of ouches, and that's why I had the perseverance in my career to be able to like push through, and being not so different that I felt like I didn't fit in 100%, but being different enough where I knew that I was different was kind of the catalyst to being able to brush it off, but also internalize things that made me stronger. And I say that now, being on the other side, but in the middle of it, you're going through it.
Miserable. Like someone asked me out, someone picked me,
Nobody would ask me out because I was too tall, my tits were too big, and all the boys were just too, I don't know, they just couldn't handle it, right? And I think my mom was thinking, thank God. But on inside, I was like, nobody likes me.
Right. What about me?
What about me?
All my friends are going.
I always felt like I was second best.
Yeah.
And then it did stick with me a bit through my career, where I wasn't getting the covers I wanted. I wasn't making the money I wanted. I was being told, oh, you're too big, you're too skinny, you're too pretty, too ugly, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's okay, I'm second best. And always kind of
being, and that was good enough.
Okay with second best.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I didn't have to be second best.
Yeah.
There was more opportunity. You at some point, you have to stop blaming your childhood and your parents, right? At some point. And we have to grow up, and we have to say, okay, let's confront all this crap that we've been through. Let's confront the issues of the name calling and the the kids, the teachers. I had teachers that were mean to me, like whatever it was. And deal with what that is, and why it happened, and why you felt like that, and move on. I know it sounds hard.
No, it doesn't.
It's a little bit harsh, but like there has to be a point in your life where you have to do that. And when I grasped that, then I kind of was like, okay, screw all the haters. Let's soar.
Yes.
And then I was able to really pour into younger women.
That's it. Because I think there are people, and I think everyone's been guilty of it at some point, but they are defined by their scar.
Yes.
I'm divorced. I have cancer. My father left me when I was this. That becomes...
It's a victim mentality.
Right, and that's how they go through life. I mean, there are many people who go through life and to this day will say, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they'll say, I'm a 20-year cancer survivor. Still marking time by that illness that happened 22 decades ago. But I do think it's interesting to be able to stand in it and go, okay, that was then. But to really do the work, because you can't just forget about stuff. You got to do something, right?
Yes. My mom, actually, she's a great example again of this. I'm sorry, we're so close, and I just think that that she was such a great example, but she had a terrible divorce about 6-7 years ago and never leads with it.
Never leads with it.
And I see her not leading with it. It's not a topic of conversation. It's like, why lead with the wounds? You already got here. You're already stronger than you were a year, 5, 10 years ago. So lead with that. Lead with your strength. And that, to me, is the power of your words and creating the atmosphere that you want around you.
When did you know that you were pretty? When did you know?
I think I had. My mom always said that I had this charismatic personality,
Right.
And I would dance on the fireplace, and I would
that girl.
I was her. I was dressing up. I was like, everybody, come, look at me. And so I think I already had the confidence. It was like, whether it's like I knew I was pretty or I knew I had like a thing about me, I don't know.
Something
that came very young.
Very young.
But then I went through a very big tomboy phase where I cut all my hair off. I dressed like a boy.
Why did you do that? Why did you choose that?
I think that I wanted something that was easy. I don't know. I was young. I was experimenting. It wasn't like, you're so young, you don't even think about it. Yeah. I want to cut my hair off because I don't like brushing my curly hair.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
Was your mom cool with that? Or?
She let me ride. My dad did too. They were totally into. They were like, sure, you want to have like baggy basketball pants and like really short hair? Great. They didn't ever like say, oh no, what is she gonna wake up and say next?
What age was that?
That was probably like 9, 10.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
you went
right
through that
around
phase.
there.
Yeah.
I started modeling at 12, and I think that's when people started really saying, you're pretty.
Yeah.
You're pretty. And then that's weird.
Yeah, to be because 12 can be super awkward that's like an awkward phase for most kids.
It is. It's weird. I was 5'9". I was a size 10 shoe.
At size 12? Age 12?
Yes, a size 12 pant.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom called it, what did she call it? It was something like pretty privilege. And people would let me cut in line. This is at 12 years old. Somebody bought my groceries for me once, or I would be traveling with my mother to like travel across the country to go for a job, like 14, 15 years old. And the oddest things would happen. She would look at these men and be like, she's 15, she's 14, she's 13. And it was because I looked like such a woman. And I didn't understand why they were looking at me. Like I hadn't grasped this like sexuality, like womanly body, also pretty thing about what was happening.
Why is all this attention coming?
Exactly. And I was never comfortable with it at that stage of my life. Like from 13 to probably like 18, it was very strange.
I was going to say, because a 13-year-old is a kid.
Yes.
Like you're a kid, and yet men are looking at you.
Yes.
Like you're a
drooling.
Something's weird.
It was weird.
Thank God your mom was there. Sorry, but
yes, she was until
protection.
I was 16. Then I started traveling on my own, and she said she was on her knees praying a lot.
Did it work?
I think so. I mean, I'm here today.
Yeah.
I'm here today.
But it's a lot for even a 16-year-old. Sorry.
Yeah.
But were you in school when you started modeling? Did you continue schooling?
I
and
did.
how'd you do that?
I am glad that I got to go through school and I had prom and homecoming.
Did all the things. Okay.
But 17, one month after I graduated high school, I moved straight to New York, and I made every mistake that you could make. I used my body for attention because that's all I really knew, because I had a really rough childhood with my dad, and like knowing like what the attention of a man was supposed to be for a woman, and also spent all my money. I was like borrowing money from my modeling agency. I learned the hard way, and that was my college. It was the streets
real
of New York.
education. Yeah.
And I figured it out, and I'm so glad like I was covered and protected. But I had some hard moments, and I'm glad that I got to be on the other side of it. Did you ever
think like, maybe not, like maybe this isn't, like I wanted this, I'm here, I've sacrificed everything, I've made bad choices. Is this like the God telling me this ain't right for you?
There was a moment where I was 18 and I was crying to my mom on the phone. I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to model. I don't want to live here. This is definitely too hard. The thing was, I had to go to New York City to make it. And if I didn't make it, I had to come back and go to college. But I am dyslexic and have ADD. So like to me, college and those two diagnoses are like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
So I called her and was like, that's it. Like, I have to go. And the prophet of my mother said, your body is going to change someone's life. Stick in there. And
she said that?
She said that to me.
How profound is that?
Beyond my wildest imagination. And to this day, I really like, I'm like, Mom, why did you say that? She's like, I don't know. I had a feeling. I knew something. I didn't know what it was. Like, but you know, as a mom, you can see things in people. You can see things in your kids, and you know them so deeply. And I said, okay. She's like, and she kind of gave me like a rough idea of like how much longer I should really like. She was like, just try for another year, whatever, but like stick with it. Like, remember who you are and where you came from, and that you are supposed to be doing this. And that really stuck with me. And that's kind of where like I started understanding how important my words were. I didn't know what the word affirmation was. I didn't understand this whole like concept of like The Secret. Remember when Oprah had the book come out?
Of course.
This was way before that. And I didn't get it, but I just started writing down things that I liked about myself. And
what was on the list?
It was like, I like my personality. I like my brown curly hair. I like, you know, I think that I was like, I like my boobs. Like, you know, like things that you like about yourself. And that started making me feel better. And then I started saying it out loud. And then I was like, wait, what do I need to walk into this casting? What do I need to like prove to these people that I have what it takes? I am bold. Okay.
Right.
I am brilliant. Okay. I am beautiful. All right, I got this. And like then became like
started to become
the
real.
Exercise of my
Your affirmations, which are by the way, so this book is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Ashley's here for a lot of reasons, but one is this book. It's called A Kid's Book About Beauty. It is about that. It's about feeling insecure, which you've described beautifully. It's about affirmations and how, by the way, the words that are ugly that people can say to you can be transformed. It's like because somebody yells, hey, you're ugly, which any kid has heard at some point. You're at the pool, you're at whatever, and someone makes fun of you. Or you're the big girl, get on the bottom of the pyramid, and you're like, oh gosh, here I am on the bottom again. Like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And then trying to tell your young self that I'm worth more.
Exactly.
I am more than all that.
It's such a hard place to be in the moment, but that's why when I'm talking about this book, it's for kids, but really when adults are reading it with their kids, they have to really internalize this book and do it at home too, because your children are watching you. They are soaking it all up, and they're saying exactly what you say. And when you say that you don't like something about yourself, your kid is going to go look in the mirror and say, wait, do I have that same thing that mommy or daddy said? Is that something that is wrong with me too?
Yeah.
And that is the problem with, I wouldn't say that the home is where everything starts.
Yeah.
School, you know, sports, activities,
all be part
of it. Yes. Yeah. But you know, create a solid rock at home.
Well, I felt like I made headway. My mom and my sister and I were talking, and my sister said something about going on a diet. And Haley, who's 7, said, what's a diet?
Oh.
And I was like this.
Yes. Oh, good.
She doesn't know. She don't know because we've never said it. And of course, I was like, and Howard goes, I said, what? She says, what is that? What does that mean? And all I could think, I just looked at her. I didn't say a word. I wasn't like, we don't talk about that in our house. You know, I just let it ride because everybody's got their own. No, don't make a thing out of it. But I was thinking about that because it is true. I mean, I walk around with stains. My Haley's go, you got to stay on your shirt. I go, exactly. Let's go out. But I want her to know that flawed is beautiful, that broken crayons still color, like all the things that we need.
Yes.
So you have 3 children.
Yeah,
First
I have
of
3
all,
boys. I know.
First of all, are you a girls? Were you thinking
First
about
of all,
being a
I
girl
know
mom,
nothing
boy mom?
about boys or men.
Yeah.
I've been married for almost 14 years. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, we are definitely from different planets. God bless you. It is
Having boys. So what's it like? Are they simple? Everyone says that little boys are simple. I mean, easier to parent.
What is the hardest part about raising 3 boys is that it feels like they're all the same age.
Yeah.
Like my oldest is 4.5, my twins are 2.5.
Yeah.
And it's the combination
together,
of like, the interests of like dinosaurs, trucks, and being outside looking for worms and dead animals. That's their favorite thing in the world. So that part's different. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and I am a girl's girl. Like I wouldn't say like I'm a girly girl in the fact that like I like to wear pink, but I am like I'm into makeup and hair and style, and I like to have like all those girly kind of conversations that like we're having right now. So. But when they come into my closet, they're like, can I try on these sparkly shoes? I'm like, sure.
Absolutely.
I'm like, check these out. Like, these are awesome too. But then they're like, rawr. So, it's funny.
How did you met your husband in church in an elevator, which I love that story. How did you learn how to love a partner? Who taught you that?
Nobody. My husband taught me.
Oh.
Let me tell you something about my husband. He is a very well put together person. He's mentally stable, emotionally, spiritually stable. I don't know where he came from, but I thank his mom and dad all the time still. I will look at his mom and I'll be like, thank you for being a great mother to him. Because his mom and dad really instilled a lot of great things in him that made him the man that he is today. And I hope that I can do that with my boys. I hope that like their partners are always saying thank you to me. That's a good goal to have.
It's a great goal.
But I was raised in a home where my parents didn't communicate. They didn't show love and affection to each other. They had very independent, separate lives, and my mother was very dependent on my father, and my father was just the kind of emotionally unavailable type of man. So when I got into the relationship with my husband, he had to teach me how to communicate with him.
Wow.
And he said, no, this is not how a relationship works. Like these are like the basic rules of how this goes, and either you abide by them or like this isn't gonna work. And when I got that ultimatum, I was like, oh, I like you. You're different.
Yes.
This is different.
So were you, previous to your husband, were you seeking out unavailable men? I mean, that's kind of a normal thing, I guess.
Yeah, like I was dating.
Yeah.
I had multiple boyfriends, and
were they all kind of like that?
Jerks.
Not quite available.
Not available. Yeah, all of the above. Oh my God.
But you knew that this guy said, this is the way we have but still learning, like hearing it, you're like, I better, but doing it and feeling it and trusting and all those things.
I knew that Justin was different, and I think also I was ready for something different. And I knew that I didn't want a marriage that looked like my parents. And I had seen that the beginning of the demise of what the downfall was, because 2 years after I got married, they got divorced. And it was a slow and steady progress of that. But to have somebody who knew how to communicate and who knew how to be affectionate in a multitude of ways. And also, our relationship wasn't based off of sex. Yeah. We waited till we were married to have sex.
You did?
Yeah.
Girl, good
I know.
for
I
you.
was not a virgin. Let's not even go there. But what I'm saying
but
is...
you wanted this, yes.
Yeah, like it was just different all
So did you
around.
guys decide that initially when you were dating? You said, we're going to see how this works.
Look, I know everybody that goes to church is not doing that. But but that was something that was...
You chose. You guys chose.
First date. It was like, wait, interesting.
So
okay.
Did he suggest it or did you?
No, it was something, we were both on our own journeys already.
Wow.
And it was just something that we
So what do you think you learned about each other by taking that part out of the equation?
Well, we took when you meet somebody and you just get hot and heavy really quick.
Yes.
That equation, it really was put to the side.
Yeah.
And looking back, like people always say, like, how do you know if you're sexually compatible?
Yeah,
and I was like, well, I knew that we were because of the way, first of all, the way we made out.
Yeah.
And felt up on each other.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, our conversations were endless.
Yes.
And we we wouldn't even just say I love you. We were like, I like you. And we had a lot of common interests, and we still do. And like our backgrounds are completely different. Like my husband and I are different races, and we have different homes that we grew up in, but we have the same basis and the same foundation of what we believe. And I think that was a starting stone for us to be able to develop a friendship that wasn't the way, we didn't look at each other as like best friends. We looked at each other as boyfriend and girlfriend, right? But that had something that was really special and deep. That's why we only dated a year and we got married.
But that's such a beautiful way of figuring out, because you're right, once the passion part, and it's still there, I hear you.
It goes away.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
You know, you've been married, you feel,
Yes.
it's like one of those things, like I have highs and I have lows with my husband.
Yes.
Where we're doing it all the time, and sometimes we're not doing it at all.
Yeah.
And that is a relationship. But if you have the core of who you are together, and it's like that friendship and the trust and the love for one another, you know, you have something special.
Having meaningful conversations can be tricky because they're hard. And like you said, you had to relearn that from him too. But when you have something big and you're like, am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Should we let it ride? You kind of fall back in your old patterns a little bit. Yeah. But how do you know, or how do you know when you think it's something that rises to the level of, you know, because an important conversation that you need to have? Because I think some people, everything's a big conversation. You're like, whoa, tap brakes, babe. This is just, I had a long day, you had a long day. This is not no cracks in the armor here.
I know those people.
Yeah, you know those people. But and having the courage to have that conversation is scary, I think.
I think at least for Justin and I, we always have created a space where we can have those conversations. Yeah. And we do a lot of check-ins. Yeah. We do the okay, so is there anything I can work on?
So you go like that.
We also have a therapist that we see, and I highly recommend that. Yeah. Even if nothing's wrong, it doesn't matter.
Just together, the
literally
two of
nothing's
you.
wrong. Oh, hey, therapist. Is there anything we want to talk about? You just never know. Yeah. Because it actually opens up the space for people to feel like this is a time to be vulnerable. Yeah. This is like we're garnering a safe space for each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that needs to be more of a norm instead of giving up. Instead of you know, as long as both of you want to, as long as you both say let's figure this out together. Yeah. Then try.
I think you do so many things right. I was thinking about, you've got your parenting, you've got your relationship, and then you have your kind of self-care. And I like how you do East meets West, because I feel like I did acupuncture for the first time 6 months ago. I had never done it. This woman who I went to is an acupuncture kind of intuitive. She's like, her glasses were on her head. She goes, where are my glasses? I'm like, oh God, this is not good.
They're up head in the clouds a little bit.
And I'm like gonna point but she looked at me and she goes, okay, I think I know where. Yep. She put it here and I'm exploding into tears. All these things happened. But I realized weirdly, like my baseline kind of, my edgy baseline, like just all of a sudden got calmer. And I went weekly for probably, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months. I feel like it kind of permanently rewired how I react. But tell me what you do that helps you, because you know, we can all get stressed and pop off at our kids, our husband, at work, whatever. What do you do to kind of keep that in check?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a multitude of things because like as you just made it very clear, like our lives are stressful. Yes. We have highs and we have lows, and we have to be wives, we have to be business women. And people are looking at us, judging us, the comments, the kids, the family, blah, blah, blah. For me, I have to create space for myself to have me time. And that's either before the kids are up, or if I'm home for a week, like it's when the kids are napping. And if I'm having the me time, I do acupuncture. I do it every other week. Oh, you do? Religiously. And
what does it do for you?
So acupuncture for me takes pain out of my body, like actual physical pain. Yeah. And not that, I mean, I'm over 200 pounds and I wear high heels almost every day. So my knees are like, so there's that. I'm sitting on airplanes. It's that. But also, I don't get Botox and filler, and I get acupuncture in my face, and that's my Botox and filler. And cupping. That's kind of like one of my favorite things.
What does cupping do for you?
Cupping just sucks all of the lines out, and it also like moves stagnation.
Oh, I like
and that's like a term and TCM where you have to. It's kind of like where something's been sitting for too much, and you kind of feel like, oh, I'm puffy there. Let's move that stagnation, and you move it around
with the cup thing.
Yes, with the cup, with the suction. It's great.
I love it.
And I think that if I'm also making time for myself, whether I'm reading, writing, singing, dancing, which I don't sing or dance, by the way, but I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah, you like it.
I
love that. I love it.
Because I'm being creative in my own space, and it could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, but I did it for me, and it made me feel so good and liberated.
What is your open your eyes, your morning, like how do you set the stage for your day?
Well, I do my darndest to not open up my phone. Yeah. That's the hardest part, right? Yep. So if I've opened up my phone, I kind of feel like the warning signs start going off, and I'm like, "You're a loser. Get out of bed now." So sometimes I just throw my phone down and I just start going. But for me, it's really getting up before the kids get up so that I can have a little bit of me time, whether it's just a ritual of having my favorite coffee or being able to just move my body. And a big thing for me in the morning is like just that morning prayer. Just having.
What do you do? Yeah, tell me about that.
What's my morning prayer look like? Yeah. Wow. Well, honestly, I turn on some Maverick City.
Okay.
More Than Able is my favorite worship song right now. And I pace in my living room and I sing out loud.
I love it.
And I just hands up.
Hands up.
Because, and we were talking about this earlier, when your hands are up and you're lifted, you're literally saying, I know that I'm open for anything today and that I have the power to be able to handle it because I started my day off with you. And your eyes are up, your hands are up, and you surrender. And surrendering is hard, but if you start your day with surrender, then you can handle anything that comes.
I love that. That phone thing is so true. I went through a ritual where my alarm is on my phone, and then I decided, because I could feel like right when I opened my eyes, you're so vulnerable. You just woke up from this sleep and your brain is still like and all of a sudden you're like, what time is it? Oh wait, there's a verdict? Yes. Oh no, what am I studying? Who's on the show this morning? And you've already spiraled in like I'm happy to have it all come in when I'm ready. Like, mama not ready yet. Okay. I need to have, so I do a shower, I come out, I do my morning prayer. I do a body, mind, spirit check-in. I literally ask my spirit, like, what do you need today? And I'll write it down. I'm like, my spirit needs, I should go, and then I'll write down, like, I'm reading this devotions book by this. So I write down, what does my body need today? I need to walk home through Central Park. What is my emotional self? So when it's written down, all of a sudden you almost have a teeny mini roadmap. Sometimes it is, I need acupuncture. I need more, whatever it is.
You are so advanced. I love this.
But it gives me a little something. But then I realize when I open the phone and let the yuck in, I'm ready. I get to pick and choose like what yuck I want in at this moment, unless of course we're covering it and then I have to be all in it.
Yeah.
But I think otherwise, to be able to fix your gaze, it's like I'm not gonna stay down this. So
Ariana Huffington actually told me that
what
one
did she
time.
say?
She was like, "You cannot sleep with your phone next to you.
God, Ariana's
it's gonna
tough.
kill you."
Yeah, she's right.
And I was like, "Oh, it's gonna kill me."
She's right.
I got an alarm clock literally the next day.
She yelled at me too, and I put mine.
I love it when she yells at me.
Get it out of the room. Get it out of the room. I was like, okay. want to talk just a little bit more about your book. Again, it's called A Kid's Book About Beauty. It's about how our kids, especially now, you pointed it out, now kids have phones at age 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Have you thought about what you're going to do?
Yes, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, great. Okay.
My kids are getting a flip phone at 14. Flip.
Yep.
They're not getting social media until they are well out. I want to wait till they're out of high school, but I understand that sometimes you can't. But during puberty, like they say your child's brain is the most vulnerable during the first 2 years and puberty. And the other thing I want to do is just foster more independence. Like have them go out and not hover over them.
Yes.
Like let them go to the store and just so that they feel empowered. But I am not.
The Japanese culture does that. I love that. Yes.
But social media, it's as if in your pocket your kid has porn, horrible graphic videos, mean things. Right. In there. Here, why don't you put it in your pocket at age 10 and carry to school so that your friends will go, ooh, Google this, and the kid does, and a permanent image is seared in, like forget, and then the school's got to get on board. That's the other thing. But by the time our kids grow up, please, like we're begging you.
I know.
But this book is about that because the girls, especially, boys too, I'm sure, but the girls are looking at themselves on social media. Do you think? I mean, I feel like this book is beautiful for all of that stuff. But what's your best advice? Because you mentor young girls who are worried about, I don't look good enough, I have too many pimples, I feel too big. Like, what's your best advice for them?
My best advice for those girls is do whatever you can to get off of social media. Because even for someone like me, who is a world-renowned model, who has been told countless times how beautiful I am, I still will go into the comment section and I will feel really bad about myself. And that is a place that is so dangerous that you aren't able to stop your kids from doing that if they have accessibility. And so for that girl who's really like having a hard time, erase it. Because guess what? It's not going to matter. Nothing's going to change. In fact, your life's going to be better. So get off of social media. The other thing is, it's important to get into different activities.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's like, it's simple things, but it's things that you as a child don't know, but like you need a little bit of guidance.
Yes. Yes.
And get into things that make you feel good about yourself, that are also edifying and giving back.
Yeah. Yes. Service. Be of service. That's good.
Service.
And my very last question is this. You have you wake up in the morning and you have no responsibilities.
Oh, what is that?
Your kids are very busy doing something. Your husband is like, honey, I'm sorry, I got a business trip. You open your eyes and the day is yours. Nobody else's day. You get to do what you would like. You've made space for yourself for this day. How would you fill it?
I would, first of all, feel really guilty. Let's be honest. I would be like, this doesn't feel very right.
Oh my God, that's true.
And I would probably want to do some kind of workout outside and go for a hike and get really sweaty and disgusting, and then eat a big bowl of pasta in front of the TV and watch something.
What's the something?
Oh my God. I really love old classic movies.
Okay. So
and I will watch them over and over again. And like the art and the history behind them is so, to me, just, I mean, it's like everybody's taking from everything. Let's just go back to the core. Like where did this originate from? So that's probably it. And then I would be like Googling, or no, then I'd be like calling everybody, where are my children? I miss my children. I want my children back.
Beautiful. Ashley, thank you.
Thanks, Hoda. Good to see you.
Love you. First of all, hi. I'm so happy to be sitting with you.
I'm honored to be here.
You're such a vision, by the way.
Privilege. Well, thank you. I take that in.
I feel like you've lived multiple lifetimes in your life.
I have.
And some people may know your story, or some may be listening to you for the very first time. So, I mean, take us back.
Sure.
Take us back to the young girl in Italy who just was overflowing. I want to hear.
Yeah. So that 20-year-old was like, I want to study art. I want to learn a language. I want to be like the first in my family to have a passport and go abroad and do all the things. And so I went to Italy and I bumped into a man on the street.
Just like that?
I mean, there are plenty of people on the street, but I literally bumped into him.
Yeah.
And that connection, that instant moment, we struck up a conversation. There was someone who could translate between us.
So he spoke Italian, you spoke English, and here you were.
And here I was, and that encounter, that chance encounter, set off a chain of events. That man would become my husband. He would move to the States. We would start a beautiful life together. He was a chef. You know, I thought I was living like La Dolce Vita.
Are you a risk taker? Are you somebody who would meet someone and say, let's roll the dice?
Not so much.
No.
I think what I am is like, I'm sort of like a, I call myself an optimist with pessimistic tendencies.
So you hope for the best.
Like, yeah, no. And so, but no, there was something, I always say Sado, his name was Sado, and I like to say his name. Sado sort of inducted me into like a bigger vision of life. I was 20 and I thought like, I'll study, I'll come back home, I'll finish my degree. It was sort of like a path was set forward.
Sure.
But he was like, and what about this? And what about this? And he drew my attention to poetry and things that were sort of circling about me because I've always been a creative person. But he sort of led with it and let those things direct his life. And I think I fell under that spell.
That, first of all, good for you for taking the risk, because I think it would have been easy to say, this is a sweet romance. It's here for a moment. How did you know it wasn't just that? How did you know it was something more?
I think he showed me a kind and quality of love that was undeniable. And what I mean by that is, and I write about this in my book, and it's also in the series. It's based on the book. But the moment when he stood in the rain for me, which is literally something that happened, I think he was showing me who he was, that he was steadfast. That
when you say stood in the rain for you,
I mean, we were dating. He was a chef. He would come home from chefing.
Yeah.
And I was asleep. And we had this agreement at the time. He couldn't ring the doorbell because I lived with roommates and it would wake everyone up. And so we agreed that at a certain point, I would like look out of the window, I would see him, and I would let him in. Well, I fell asleep. So I missed the moment. I woke up and it was raining. And I thought, there's no way he's there. There's just no way. Right. And sure enough, he was. He had been standing under a lamppost in Florence, waiting for me to wake up. I know. It was both cinematic. It was also like, I was 20, so I was also like, I just love it. I couldn't, it was so epic, but also so him that it just felt like, oh, well, this is someone I could go distance with. He'll be there. He'll show up.
Had your heart been broken before meeting him?
Yeah. I mean, I was 19. So I hadn't had like
big breakups.
Yeah. They'd had high school breakup. I had some college romances and things. Yeah. And I just felt, I grew up with parents who were divorced. I was always like, a little dubious of like,
I'm not sure if I want that. Yeah.
How does this work? But I always knew I wanted someone who would show up for the way I was trying to learn how to show up for myself. Yeah. So in some way, having someone externally do it for you gave me, I don't know, in a certain sense, permission to do it for myself even.
I like that.
Which is...
Well, your parents divorced when you were younger?
Yeah. I was like seven.
So how did you define what a loving relationship looked like?
It looked like consistency. It looked like curiosity. It looked like sticking with it when things were a little bit murky and uncomfortable. And each of my parents went on to remarry, so I also saw them transform and repartner in beautiful ways. And so I was also like, okay, it's possible, but and I dreamed of it. I mean, I wanted it for myself.
Of course, yeah.
But I certainly didn't expect, at 20 to meet someone who would change my life. I mean, it's kind of, especially now to sit here at this stage of life, I see how truly remarkable it was.
What were your parents like when you took the passport and you said, I'm going to Italy? And you said you were the first in your family to have a passport.
I mean, I think someone probably did, but I felt at 20 as though I was the first one.
Hello.
I certainly was the first person to study abroad. To say, like, I'm going to go get an address, in a foreign country.
That's kind of cool, though. And why did you choose Italy?
Well, I was studying art history, and quite frankly, it was a part of my major. I had to be proficient in a language, and it was sort of German, French, or Italian. And I was like, I like pizza, so it's Italy.
You're like, done and done.
Yeah. But my parents were supportive.
Yeah.
They were like, interesting choice. Graduate on time and don't ask us for more money and it'll be fine.
Oh, so that, yes, you checked the boxes.
It was kind of like, do this.
Yeah.
We support you.
But
be mindful.
Yes. Yes.
And you have a responsibility.
Yes. So you got engaged when you were in Italy?
No, when I got back.
Oh, and you got back.
Yeah.
Okay. So how were you explaining? Because I know my parents or anyone's parents, hey, I met this really cute guy in Italy and we're getting married. It'd be like, wait, huh? So how did your parents react to you initially having a boyfriend?
Yeah, I think there was a great deal of concern of like, what is actually happening here?
Yeah.
And has she been hoodwinked? My father, who at the time I never shared like any intimate details of life with. And I casually on one like the weekly phone call, like family check-in, I was like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend.
And he was like this, come again?
And so, he pretty promptly, he and my stepmom bought a ticket and came to Italy because they were like, my dad was literally like, I need to see what is happening and who this person is.
So they flew out to meet him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how
and
did
to check in on me.
Of course. Yeah. How did that meeting go? How was that?
I think Sato was shaking in his boots.
Yes.
My dad, so I grew up in Texas. My dad is a Texan in all the ways. And he came to Florence with cowboy boots and a cowboy hat on and walked down Via Cazzaioli with the cowboy hat. My Sato was like, what's actually happening? So there was some intimidation, but pretty quickly.
Oh, he saw him.
He was like, okay, this is a good person who cares for my daughter.
Okay.
And so we kind of dispensed with that.
So you kind of had a blessing, there. How about your mom?
My mom was very much like, interesting.
Okay.
Once she met Sato, they became the best of buddies. But, it was later before she met him. But I think she trusted also my dad and my stepmom's, opinions. Sort of opinions.
So then he proposed. He proposed when you came back home?
Yeah. Actually, I technically proposed to him.
Okay. Good for you. You're the chooser. Okay, so tell me how that went.
At the time, he'd come to the States. And he was living in New York here with Meth. We were living together. And I was like, well, I think this is like a real thing. And we were in the village and we got like rings on the street. And I was like, let's get married. You want to get married? And he said, of course I want to get married. Of course.
Of course. Those are two great words.
Of course.
Of course.
Why wouldn't we do that?
Oh.
Like, of course.
And that was that?
Kind of, Hoda. I'm telling you.
I love how you operate, though. But first of all, you knew it was destiny.
Yes. And I think there's certain things for me that when all the fog clears and it's just like a clear, direct path and you're like, oh, well, that's the choice. I don't second guess it.
Yeah.
And I've learned to trust that even more as I've gotten older.
So you get married and you're going about your life. Did you live in the United States or in
we
Italy?
lived here mostly. I would visit back. There was a period of time. It took him a while to like wrap up his life there and come here. But once we were here stateside, we were kind of going along.
Like life was happening.
Like life is good. We moved to LA and we were in a kind of unfolding as young couples are. We're thinking like, oh, we'll eventually have kids and all the things.
Was he a chef? Was he working as a chef in California?
In California. And then he had a diagnosis.
Yeah, how did that come?
It came about, we actually took a yoga class together, believe it or not. And he kind of hurt his knee in the yoga class, and we didn't really think that much of it. Yeah. But it lingered and it lingered, and so we went in and he had some sort of imaging, and it became clear within about a couple of weeks that there was something more than just a meniscus that was torn.
Right.
It was a leiomyosarcoma. So there was a lesion in his knee, in the soft tissue and also into the bone. And it was a page 1 rewrite of life because I was 31 at the time. We were in the prime of everything, as
of course
you are. And I pause because it's washing over me, even in just talking about it now. That moment when you get the diagnosis, it's almost like it's so arresting.
Yes.
So even just talking about it, like I feel it, like my body remembers it. Yeah. I just remember being so stunned.
Were you in the doctor's office? Like, how did you guys hear that?
We were in the doctor's office. Oh, so there'd been a series of images of like, it was x-ray, then I think it was an MRI. And then it was like, oh, we need to biopsy something. And we're thinking like, oh, okay. And it took about a week or 2 for those results to come back because I think they were double checking. And so they told us to come in for the results. And we were with a doctor who was, an orthopedic specialist in Los Angeles who basically was a sports medicine doctor, right? Yeah. So I don't think he saw this a lot. And he had us in his office. And quite frankly, he wasn't used to giving this kind of news. And it was hard for him. And we could feel
Funny
it.
that you noticed that.
I could feel it. And I could feel like, oh, and he just said, here's the number of someone I think you need to talk to. And we didn't have words. And my husband was like, what is actually happening?
What are we talking about here? Yeah. What did they tell you the prognosis was or what was going to happen?
At the time, we saw an orthopedic surgeon who said, okay, here's what we can do. We're going to have to remove your knee. You're going to have to get a knee replacement. He went through the mechanics of what that would all look like. Right. But he said, then you're going to need chemotherapy. And that will last for potentially 6 months, potentially more. We don't know. And so we began working with an oncologist. And I think initially it was sort of like, and I think this was actually Grace. We were on a need to know basis. We were never told stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And quite frankly, I'm so glad we were. For us, I'm glad we weren't. It was just like, this is where we are today. Yep. And this is what's needed today. Yep. And then we're going to see how that goes. And then we'll make another decision. And I think that moment by moment living was a gift to us because from jump, it allowed us to just be present in our lives and with each other in the best way that we could under the circumstances.
Boy, that's very profound because I think that is a lot of people for control reasons, since you have zero control, tell me every single thing so I know what might happen. But you're right. Then you're doing nothing but worrying.
And I had one friend who was like, do not get on the internet, whatever you do. And I trusted her so implicitly.
Wow.
I trusted her so much that I didn't.
Wow, what a good friend, too.
I didn't. And also, it was, even if I had, I know now, it was such a rare cancer, I would have, it would have been all, I wouldn't have known anything more and would have just worried more.
So you know it's going to be chemo. You don't know what it means. But down the road, obviously, things were getting worse. And to go from a loving wife to a loving wife and
a caretaker.
A caregiver.
That was not easy.
That had to have been hard.
It was hard. It was hard on, obviously, it was hard on me. It was hard on him. It was hard on the marriage.
Yeah.
At times, it was hard on the friendship that we had. he said often to me, I feel like my role now is that of patient. I don't have a job anymore.
Oh, that's hard.
I'm not able to be with you in the way that I want to be with you. And I feel like I'm just a patient. And
that's hard.
And so it was.
Yeah.
It was. And I remember sharing it with a friend, and she said, you guys have got to find your way back to each other because this will hurt the marriage and the union more. And so I went back to him and I said, look, you're my husband. You're my guy.
Yeah.
And you're a patient, but I still need you to show up as you when and where you can.
Yes.
And that began a kind of baseline of honesty and transparency that we had with each other, which was really important for the intimacy that we needed to go the distance with the presence of cancer in our lives.
How long did he live?
10 years. I was his caregiver for 10 years. So we had a long haul.
So most of your relationship?
Yeah, half of it.
Half of it was caregiving.
Mm-hmm.
What did you lose the day he died?
I lost a beautiful friend, father of our daughter, lover, seeker of literature and all the fun stuff, a great cook. One of the most irascible, sort of, just dynamic people. Wow. He was my person, right? He was my person, and I'd grown up with him, and he knew everything about me sometimes before I knew it. And so that loss was truly shattering in all the ways.
How old was your daughter?
7.
Yeah. So you guys adopted her while he was still...
he was in remission when we went through the process, and then when she was about 18 months, 2 years old, we were back in the cycle of chemotherapy and treatments and whatnot.
How did you talk to her about all of what was going on?
We really tried to be as straightforward and honest as was appropriate developmentally, right? Yeah. And so she always knew, Babbo, which is the, sort of Italian for dad. She was like, Babbo is, she's like, his knee hurts, or he has a hard time walking. So she was always sort of very aware. We had nurses coming and going. She would go with him to treatment. So it was part of her life and our family fabric. But we really made a choice as a couple that he would get the most time with her in a certain sense, because I think we were aware that we were living with the specter of illness around. And so when she would ask questions, we'd answer, but not in a way that was frightening, but in a way that was as honest as we could be. And I think that helped a lot for when she and I were alone and he was no longer with us.
Yes. I mean, it's hard enough to process such a loss as a wife, but as a mother, it's a whole. I bet you were just totally focused too on trying to make sure she was okay.
I was. I think she gave me a kind of laser focus where I was like, eat day to day.
Yes.
If I do nothing for myself, and there were days that I did nothing for myself, I'm going to be here, and I can be here for her. And that saying, a mother is only as happy as their child. Exactly. Yeah. So for me, it became like, okay. And I was very, we had grief counselors and things. And I was very like, okay, what does she need? What does she need?
Wow. What a child you have. She's 19 now, you said?
She's 19.
we talked about multiple lifetimes that you've lived. My very best friend lost her husband, and I've often talked to her about, the idea of opening your heart again, the idea of what that looks like and when that feels right, and is it even possible, and what kind of love is it? You've navigated your life in such a way, because there was, I'm sure, the grieving process even when he was alive.
Yeah.
But what did you think about when you thought about loving again?
Initially, I didn't think about it at all. Actually, initially, he brought it up first before he asked. Well, he said, I want you to know love. And I was very mad at him when he said that. I remember exactly where we were, and I thought, how dare you bring that? What? It was inconceivable to me.
Of course, yeah.
And it stayed inconceivable, quite frankly. And I was like, I have had that.
I had that. Yeah.
And I thought, when, I think about 3 years out after his passing, I sort of thought to myself, well, maybe perhaps one day when my daughter's older, and she's out of the house, maybe I'll, maybe someone might come. But I really wasn't strangely interested at the time.
Yes.
And I just needed to mend my heart.
Yes.
But there came a time when I found myself being very curious about, well, what would that look like?
Yeah. How would that feel?
Yeah. And my daughter was like, Mom, you should date. Like
Yeah.
I was like, what? Are you what?
Isn't that sweet when you think about it? Because it'd been years since he passed.
Yeah, it had. At that point, it had been 4 years.
4 years, yeah. Wow.
And so when she said that, I thought, what's the message there?
Yeah, what was it?
And I just felt as though she were saying, Mom, I want you to be happy. It wasn't taking away from how much she missed her dad.
Right.
I think I was also thinking to myself, well, I not only owe this to myself, but maybe I can model what it look like to stay open and curious. And she would see that. And
that's
so, I mean, maybe. So but ultimately what I did was I told Sato, I said, look, you said you wanted me to have love. Can you, if you really mean that, make it easy for me? Because I can't go out there and do the things that people do.
So you spoke to him.
I did.
And did.
I said, make it easy. If it's meant to be, make it easy. Make it easy.
And was it?
It was. It actually was.
Wasn't it?
It totally was.
God, both of your loves were easy. Wow.
They were easy. Now, the making of them, I mean, the saying yes to the openness of it, that is always easy.
Yes.
It then becomes the work of the partner.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that is its own path and its own journey. And then and you're each in a trust fall with each other for how to show up in each other's lives with all the stuff. And certainly repartnering after loss is stepping into a deeply intimate, connected partnership, not only with the person as they are in the 3D, but also with all that came before.
Wow.
Because I think repartnering after loss is about looking back.
Yes.
While you're standing in the present, while you're also looking forward. And that multi-directional viewpoint is not always easy, and sometimes it's dizzying.
Do you and your current husband speak about your former husband?
Yes, we do.
You do?
We were dating in the first year when I started writing a book about Sato. And I said, okay, so here's the deal.
Oh, you were telling your
I literally told Robert, I said, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I have to write this book because I have to write the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to write the book.
Yeah.
And there'd be whole days where I'd be in the book, which meant I was in my 20-year-old self who met Sato in Florence. And then I would emerge from the writing and I was in my present and I might have a date with him in the afternoon.
You're like, this is so
this is weird.
Tell me about the book, because I mean, I think you discovered or rediscovered just how it's all the connective tissue.
It's all the connective tissue. Yeah. So the book came about because, one, I felt like I need to write everything down. And I think there are a lot of people who memoir begins like I've seen something. I need to write it for myself. Also, it was about 5 years after he had passed, and I felt like I don't want to lose these memories.
Yes.
And so my way into the writing was through cooking, because food had been such a big part of our lives. And the book actually opens with me in the kitchen cooking my first meal within the first weeks after he passed, asking him, show me what to do. Because he'd always been, it was his knives, everything was in a way, the way he'd set it up. And that journey to finding my way back to literally nurturing myself is a part of, it's the jumping off point for the book. And then the book is also about the second love story that I have with his mother.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, she, in our story, I guess I buried the lead because my in-laws initially did not come to our wedding.
Oh.
They did not approve of our union. It was interracial, it was cross-cultural, age difference, language difference. He's Catholic, I'm not, divorced parent, all the things. And they were like, we can't co-sign on this. We don't see it. We don't see it. It's not a thing. And so they didn't come. And we got married in Italy, and they didn't come.
What did he think about that?
He was hurt. He was deeply, deeply hurt by it.
Yeah.
Over the years, we had a gentle sort of reconnection and forgiveness. And by the time he passed, they were in our lives.
Okay.
But I can't say I was close to his mom. But after Sato passed, and I'm looking at our daughter, and you asked me about parenting a child who is grieving a parent, I thought, well, I don't want her to not know whole parts of his life and his mom and his family and his small Sicilian village. And so I said, I'm going to go there. And he also had asked me to bring his ashes there.
Oh, geez.
And so I bought a ticket 3 months after he passed away, 3-4 months. And I showed up on my mother-in-law's doorstep.
With your daughter?
With my daughter.
Okay.
And his ashes.
When had you seen them?
I'd seen them last a year before he passed.
Okay.
The summer before he passed. And so that began.
How were you greeted?
Well, my mother-in-law was a jewel woman, but she was also like, you're coming to me. And she understood what that meant. She was a widow herself.
Oh.
And I think she was grateful that I was holding up a promise I'd made to Sato.
Mm-hmm.
She was happy to see her granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And we began this sort of tenuous beginning.
Right.
She spoke Sicilian, I spoke Italian.
Mm-hmm.
As my second language, Italian's her second language. And we met there in our shared grief each day for a month. I stayed there a month. Hoda.
Wow, that's big.
I stayed there for a month. Mostly because I was like, I'm going so far. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. I want to lay down here for a
And
while.
I knew if I needed to come home early, if it's weird, I'll just change the ticket and I'll come home. But let me give myself the grace of this.
Okay.
And that began, I went the first summer, and then I went back a second summer.
Wow.
And I went back a third summer. And by the fourth summer, my sister was like, you should write about this. Like, it's kind of, you realize
what's going on here.
You guys have made family after loss.
Yeah, that's big.
That's big.
Yeah. So
the book is that journey as well.
Isn't that
so
amazing?
It's dual. It's the storyline. It's the love story with Sato, but it's also this love story with my mother-in-law. And it's also a story of grief. It's the story of me, those first 3 summers that I'm visiting Sicily, trying to put myself back together, asking myself, what is the way forward for me? And how do I hold on to love?
So if you had a day that was just for you, you could wake up in the morning. I like this podcast. It's called Making Space for yourself.
Yeah.
If you had no commitments, no husband, no daughter, no nothing, you could wake up, open your eyes. How does that day unfold, and how do you make space for yourself?
I think right now, one of the first things that I'm doing for myself is really checking in here. We talked about this. I'm an empty nester now. So there's new space in my life. And in that spaciousness, I ask the question, well, it's kind of a time I'm finding that I'm reparenting whole parts of myself.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And so sometimes it's like the first thing is like a checking in. And then, of course, at this age, there's also like moving the body and doing that kind of,
doing all those things.
Right?
Yes, we do that.
I love nature. So for me, whenever it's cloudy up here and there's a lot going on, the quickest way to sort of clear. It's like the windshield wipers on everything. Is go out. I mean, literally, I am not above hugging a tree.
I love that.
I will hug a tree.
Okay.
I will hug a tree.
So you get in nature. That feels good.
Nature feels good. A good meal.
Yeah.
Connecting with friends.
Yes.
Something that lifts, I believe in spiritual rituals right now. And what I mean by that is it can have a component of religion, but more often than not, it is anything that lifts my spirit, that allows me to feel and see the light that is without so that I can mirror it within.
You're living on the right side.
I'm trying.
I want to say thank you. What a beautiful conversation. You're just like a beautiful human being.
Thank you. I am so inspired by literally everything you do.
Make me laugh.
No, it's I was talking to one of my dear friends who said, I'm so happy you're speaking with Ho today. She said she is one of the most authentic people. And she said it just comes through. And so it's a privilege to be here with you, because to emanate and radiate that kind of light is a gift in the world. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. First of all, I've been dying to sit with you and have a long conversation with you. Let's just go back, because I want people to get to know you from the beginning. So let's start here. Okay. Close your eyes. Oh, I already like it. You are in the bedroom that you grew up in as a child. You can see the walls, what's on the walls, what kind of sheets you had, what kind of books were in the bookcase. Now open your eyes and just tell me what that bedroom looked like.
So my bedroom was incredibly practical and not childlike.
Okay.
Which is telling of my parents, who are practical people.